from Florida. There's something about the speed of a guy like Chris Rowe. I just love watching these guys play, and that's the way you answer back after a quick early score. You step out and say, we're not going to lay down for anybody.
And of course now all of the eyes in DC on Warren Smith Jr., the quarterback, stepping in, looking to take over here. Also wide out Rod Windsor, the big time target. So look for those two to try to answer quick.
Warren Smith representing the Maine Bears. It's good to get a chance to give a shout out to the Bears every once in a while on the broadcast. Looking forward to see what he can do with T.T. Tolliver about to be in motion.
Smith drops back, surveys, has the post. That's a nice gain there as he connects with his man.
Josh Reese right there with a great ability to sit in the pocket. That's a problem for a lot of receivers when they're running routes, is trying to find a comfortable spot in a tight zone. He did an excellent job of slowing down his route, putting his hands up, catching it, and able to advance the offense. If the Valor can do this throughout the game, they're going to be on a path to victory.
Gain of 13 as Smith drops back under center. Looking for that quick screen, goes off the hands, and that will fall harmlessly to the ground. Defense all over that. Number 24, Arthur Hobbs, thinking pick.
I'm telling you, Rod Windsor was thinking touchdown if he would have caught that. Now, mind you, this has been one of the leaders on this team. He's a two-time Arena football champion. So you know he brings the experience and leadership to it. Sometimes you just don't catch the ball. It's part of the game.
And Wes, how much of an advantage is it the way the receivers get to take off at the line? This is the only level of football where you see that.
That type of motion for a guy with a lot of size and a lot of quickness is the ultimate advantage, because you're already putting a DB in the place that he's backpedaling and trying to read a quarterback. It's a dangerous combination.
Second down, Smith thinking end zone, thinking touchdown as he hooks up with T.T. Tolliver.
The oldest player in the AFL, showing that age is only a number that you allow to be something real. T.T. Tolliver, I'm so glad to see the man still contributing to this team. He was a focal point last season and of course carried over this year. That type of composure and leadership, and again, the ability to catch the ball with your hands. Look at the way that he drags around the backside of the defense and finds the perfect little basket catch right there in the corner of the end zone. I'm telling you, this Valor team today looks like they are inspired and motivated to get a win in front of their home crowd today.
14-yard touchdown strike as Clark sets up. And he will remain perfect on the extra points.
We talked about Pat Clark.
Yeah.
Excellent on those extra points, and you're going to see in a game like this, especially on a matchup against a team that you just saw, every point is going to count. Arena football is known for running to the wire with scores. It can look like a 60-61 point game, 70-71, or even a 40-42. You've got to make sure that you score on every opportunity that you have the ball, including extra points.
And that was a great way to answer. You can't afford a turnover there. They do a nice job of scoring to keep pace, and all of a sudden you have a lead after you kicked off to start.
So now we're basically back to a 1-0 game. I would say 0-0, but remember that the Empire missed their extra point. But if you're Coach Kokinis right now, you can pretty much tell your defense, let that first one go. We answered back. Our offense was able to put points on the board. So now we're starting all over again. Let's hopefully let Tracy Belton be the leader of the secondary and try to get Dominic Addison and some of these other guys in the right position to make sure that they don't give up any big plays like that again. If you keep the guys in front of you, you'll be fine. You just don't want to let them get behind you, because in arena football, if he's one step next to you, he's gone.
What I love about arena football is that it's set up almost the way you want to play a video game or play Madden. You got to go for it all the time. That's what you do when you're playing Madden.
Oh, yeah.
You put up all the points. You don't want to give anything up. It's just take another look at this beautiful touchdown toss from Smith to Tolliver.
But I'm telling you, we talked about it at the beginning of the game. You got to protect your quarterback. And now let's go down and see what Dan Nolan's doing.
Look, you're no stranger to scoring touchdowns. That's for darn sure. Over 300 over the course of your career. How'd you score that one right there?
Oh, Coach called a good play. He called a post route, and the guy was kind of paying me head up. He just let me across his face, and it was a touchdown right from there.
How important was it to get a quick score to start this game, given how the Valor have started this season so far?
It was real important. You know, we just kind of start the game off a little slow. Hopefully, we could pick up from there, touchdown, and get going.
All right, TT, thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
One of the funny things I learned about T.T. Tolliver was This guy is a veteran, and of course he can play all over the place. You have to be an athlete to play in the Arena Football League. But he actually threw for a 3-yard touchdown back in 2006 for the Nashville Cats. So just in case we need TT to do everything, we can. But I'm glad that the veteran has come out and shown his leadership. Like Dan said, he was able to get a post route that opened up the defense, and you have to give credit to the offensive line. We talked about this at the beginning of the game, the tone setters up front, those big guys that like to eat 3 plates, kept my man Warren Smith upright on his feet and allowed him to see the field and connect with TT.
In 2006, I was worried about an Algebra 2 exam in high school.
Well, TT was scoring, baby. Trying to do it again here as we get ready to kick off another one from Clark.
Pat Clark, a heck of a kicker. Let's see what he does with this one. Boots it. Hits the top, and that will be a touchback. The top of the wall counts as a touchback as the fans are there, but there is a flag down on the field as well.
I know the fans in the Bud Light Party Zone were happy for that one. It's one of the best seats in the house. You see a kickoff coming right at you. Like you said, that bounced off the top of the wall. Right now, we're going to see what the call is going to be. Seems to be that it's going to be in the favor of the Valor. They have not moved the spot of the ball quite yet. But again, when you talk about momentum after a quick score like that, you got to make sure that you take advantage of defensive field position.
Since the kickoff was unreturnable, there is no foul for offsides on the kicking team. After the play, personal foul, defense, number 20. That's a 10-yard penalty for the 5-yard line. Ball be placed at the 15, first down.
That calls on Quay Cox, defensive back number 20 for the Valor. Being a little more aggressive than usual.
That's unfortunate, but let's see them show some of that aggression on defense in a good way after they had one play on defense, a one-play touchdown given up.
I tell you, see Grady coming out there with the height that this young man brings to the, I mean, standing, what, 6'4"? Of course, I like the number that he's wearing, too. I'm a little biased, but big advantage for the Empire.
Quick pass connects, first down, and a little more. He hit Jones again.
I'm going to tell you now, Malachi Jones is going to be a problem today. Again, he's one of these guys that's small, but he plays big. And in arena football, if you're able to find any crease, you're going to be able to take advantage of the defense. Again, running a quick out route, starts off on the numbers, takes 2 steps outside, and is able to make a good play up the field. Quay Cox, of course, in there on the tackle, trying to make up for a little mistake that he made on the previous kickoff play.
Solid 13-yard gain, first down, Empire. There you get a look at Malachi Jones to the bottom of your screen. Grady looking for a man, and a miscommunication as a fan will get a front row souvenir.
Quay Cox is turned up, as they would say, matching up against Colin Taylor for the incomplete pass out there. Just a little miscommunication between Grady and Collins. He expected the out route. Of course, Collins thought he was going to get an up route, so, you know, just one of those things. It happens every once in a while, but good job on the Valor defense to keep everyone in front of them. You're going to hear me talk about this throughout this game. The secondary has to keep this Empire offense in front of them. And don't be surprised if you see Joe Hills getting the action here in a second or two. It's only so long you can keep a guy like that quiet.
I love that the fans get to keep the football when it goes in the stands, kind of like baseball, as Grady can't connect there, and another souvenir in the front row.
I tell you, you might have to let some of those guys try out down there. Good play by Addison, putting a little tight clamp defense on the outside. Of course, a flag on the field. We'll have to see what happens, but I know Tracy Belton talking it over with the secondary guys, trying to make sure everybody's in the right place at the right time.
Illegal formation, defense out of stance, number 12, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And that's one of the rule differences in the AFL versus other football. You got to be down in your stance. As a lineman, you can't be upright.
Yeah, no, you got to lock it down. Remember, you're already losing 3 personnel members per team for a game like this. So obviously there are slight rule changes, but thank God Dan Nolan was there to break it down for us earlier in the game, and I'm certain he's going to have some more nuggets for us as we go on. But here we are. The Albany trying to push it in.
2nd and 5. Grady sets up. Looking end zone, just off the fingertips of his man, looking for Joe Hills.
Dominic Addison did an excellent job at recovering on the route. Joe Hills running actually a post corner. starting on the inside. He's going to work towards the middle of the field and then break back outside. Great route, great way to get a defensive back out of position, but Addison able to track the man and track the ball, able to get a fingertip on it and keep Joe Hills from making that touchdown reception.
Hills and Grady really have prototypical size.
Oh my gosh, I mean, if you wanted to pick someone to draw it up, these would be the first two guys that you do it with.
Gets the snap, looking for the screen, tipped. Hills gets it anyway, cuts inside. That'll be a first down and a little more.
Tell you saw that tackle right there from a man, Roosevelt Falls, against the big Joe Hills. Now you think about Joe Hills, you're talking about a receiver that is not afraid of contact, but Roosevelt Falls isn't either. You see the 12, you think offensive number, but he's going to hit you like 12 pounds of bricks. Out of Louisiana Tech, big defensive lineman, not afraid of contact, keeps his eyes on the ball, and the player able to wrap up and make a really good tackle.
In prepping for the game, one interesting nugget is just the size difference in the trenches between the teams. A lot of beef for Albany, a lot more athleticism for the Valor. Inside pass connecting with Hills again, lost his hat. But that is a solid gain of 6.
Well, as a receiver, you know you're going to get hit, so you might as well catch the ball. Hills does a really good job of sitting down in the pocket. It's a timing route between he and Grady, where he's able to take 5 steps, turn around, boom, the ball is there, get low in between the secondary, protect the ball, protect yourself, and get to the floor. Smart play, good job for Empire.
6:40 to go in this first quarter. 7-6 Valor lead. Empire can take the lead here. They have a second down upcoming. Grady looks, it's batted, and that will go incomplete. He was looking for Hills.
He was, but Falls and Gordon, the commissioner as they call him, refusing to allow that pass to get through, keeping their hands up. And when you think about a MAC linebacker whose job is to come downhill, if you can't get to the quarterback, you put your hands up. That's just basic football 101. Defensive linemen and linebackers are taught you take those steps and you got to be able to keep your eyes upfield. If you don't see the quarterback able to throw the ball, you put your hands up and create some traffic, as they would say, and muddy up those passing lanes.
AFL backers have to kind of play sideline to sideline, can't drop back too far, and there you see it from Gordon. Grady drops back, looking for the jump ball one-handed, and they're going to say incomplete. A fan might have picked it off, but they say incomplete. There is a flag down. You see the coach coming out arguing as the fan does a nice job of catching that.
Well, you have to look at Joe Hills on this play right now. Typically, he's going to get this, but you can tell the Valor have done a really good job of keeping contact with Joe Hills. Keep someone close to his body. You've heard me talk about this when we cover other games. You don't want to allow a guy of that size free reign to the corner. And of course, when you come to a game like this, you got to think everybody wants the ball. Whether you're looking for it or not, there's going to be one. I think those corner seats there in the end zone are the best seats in the house besides the party zone. But of course, it's a third down penalty for the Valor.
Third penalty of the game. It is now a third down upcoming. Grady gonna hand it off to Jones. Hits the wall, looks to be a little short.
They're gonna call that short. He hit that wall. He stuck the ball out. It's gonna be, looks like they might give him the first full set of downs. Of course, just shy of the goal line. And again, you talk about the versatility of this young man by the name of Malachi Jones. Number 7 in white. You've seen him as a receiver. He can come in motion, skipping along. His speed and his explosiveness are a real problem. You talked about the athleticism of the defensive line. Well, you also have to factor in the fact that the secondary are responsible for their receivers as well. The natural inclination is to take that step back, but when you get in the goal line situation, you don't have to defend that much of a field, so you have to keep your eyes upfield and understand that there might be a run, a reverse, or a run, a reverse.
And with the collision there, Quack Hawks actually took the brunt of it, tried to stay up, but he was laboring a little bit, and now he'll go down, let the training staff take a look at him. Yeah,
Quake Hawks does not want to lay down right now, but unfortunately the injuries kind of dictate that, and a lot of contact in this game. Again, guys really turned up looking for that first home win, but you look at a guy like Quake Hawks on the kickoff return earlier, a lot of contact, made up for a bad mistake on kickoff coverage by making a great defensive play. And here he is, good to see him up on his feet and able to walk off the field. But you know, the Valor mantra is the next man.
So they'll take time on the field with the injury. 4:30 to go in the first quarter. Valor leading 7-6. And let's head down to Dan Nolan on the sidelines.
All right, thank you guys. Well, today's game not only on Monumental Sports Network, but also on Facebook. And we want to hear from you all game long. Already, we asked the question, who needs to have a big game for the Valor? We've already got some comments, guys. Todd Mintz says, T.T. Tolliver, obviously. Look at the condition he's always in. It means a long career. He's always looked great. So, guys, I ask you, who needs to have a big game for the Valor tonight?
I'm going to go ahead and answer that first. I think it's actually going to have to be Tracy Belton, and here's why. It might not show up in the stat book, but his influence as a leader on the field is so important to making sure that everyone is in the right position. As I was coached when I was younger, they told us, if you get burnt on a play, that's your fault. If you're not in the position to get burned on the play, that's my fault. And so you want to have a coach on the field that's able to keep guys in the right position at the right time as well, because arena football is faster. So where you might have one-on-one coverage outside on your side of the field and you think nobody's over there, you have to make sure you watch that backside receiver dragging across the offense. As you look at how much time the quarterback has in the pocket, it only works to the offense's advantage for that.
I'm going to be Captain Obvious. I'm going with Warren Smith, the quarterback. 2 interceptions last time out against this defense. Had time to study the film. If he can cut down on the turnovers, the Valor have a great chance. Right now, it's a 1-point game as they're getting set up. And right now, a goal line situation in an open offense. Now, you take a look at the Empire's line. They're big, and fullbacks, they don't have running backs. Yeah, fullbacks, right. They tend to be big guys. I'm inclined to just give it to the big fella. Yeah, you would be tempted to do so, and I wouldn't blame you for it. But again, sometimes they're expecting that. They see it coming. Everything that we see in the booth, you know, these guys scout and practice this all week long. And against this particular team, I think the Valor have an extra little chip on their shoulder not to give up any other points. Keep an eye on big old 13 Mawia as he gets set up. Looking for the connection, and that is incomplete. Looking for Hills. Off the fingertips of Joe Hills, matched up against Dominic Addison. And what's interesting about this is I love that Coach Kokinas is putting Addison on Hills. Wherever Hills goes, Addison is there. It's a great matchup because when you have your best defensive back against the best receiver on the field, that tells you the commitment and the trust that Coach Kokinas has in Dominic Addison. And there was a flag on the Valor, their 4th penalty of the day, and offsides call. So half the distance, you've got to take out the old school elementary grade ruler to move it maybe 3 inches. I tell you, when you talk about the goal line stance in arena football, the ball can move 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, full inch, and still might not get in there. But remember, still first down. Loading up the box here. Dangerous pass, and that falls harmlessly to the ground. You talk about dangerous. Of all the routes that a receiver doesn't want to run, a zero route to the sideline is just that. Tracy Belton, the veteran, doing his best absolute denial of Joe Hills, and that's what it's going to take. Again, don't let Hills be free in space. The more space you give him, the more dangerous he becomes. And it was a great job of seeing the Valor defense collapse and attack the ball. Looking at the ref's hat right there on that hat cam. Talk about intense in the action. Some of these guys just getting ready for the next play, and you have to see the focus in them. Look at this. Everybody knew where the ball was going. Even Commissioner Gordon getting a little bit of action on that one. So close to the action, and that backs him up a little bit too, as it was a backwards pass and it went out of bounds. Grady. Wide open, touchdown, Greg Carr. Greg Carr with the easiest touchdown that you're going to see. I tell you right there, that pass, it's all about a broken defense that did not get their man matched up. Remember, we talked about arena ball. You're going to pretty much be in man coverage the whole time. And look at that. Tracy Belton comes up to take over the motion man, and that was his man. Greg Carr does a great job finding the ball. Scoring quick, easy touchdown. That was a 3-yard cornhole toss. Yeah, that was pretty easy. Let's see if Spencer can right his previous wrong. Bobbled the snap, kicks it, and that is covered up. And shades of one of my favorite football players right there is that snap mishandled, and it will stay 12-7 Empire. Well,
I'll tell you, the Valor have been very fortunate to have 2 special teams mess-ups from the Empire. But when you talk about the previous play, I really want to go back to that play, because when you talk about the mismatch of the secondary guys not being able to find their man, that is going to crush you in arena football. Obviously, it hurts in outdoor, but in indoor, one mistake can cost you points.
Let's go ahead and send it to Jonathan in Vegas to check the lines.
Hey guys, so look, a lot of overbettors are not going to like these missed extra points at this point. Now it's only 2, but every point counts, right? When you're betting over 95 points is what it closed at. As far as the line, we actually saw a lot of volatility out here. Albany opened up as a 6-point favorite, went all the way up to 9 at one point before settling back down at 7. So a lot of people came in on Albany first, came back in on the dog of the Valor. So right now, of course, with Albany taking care of business, favorite bettors really like what they're seeing, but overbettors have to be really unhappy with the missed extra points.
I tell you, that'll do it to you every time. Those over and under, those extra points, man.
And for Empire, we've seen 2 different drives. We saw the 1-play drive, and then we just saw an Arena League ball control drive. 10 plays, 8 minutes, 42 seconds off the clock, as there's just 1:59 left in the quarter.
Well, that's really the only drive that I would consider as a drive, because that first play, like you said, it was a quick hit score. It's one of those short memory situations that the defense, you just kind of have to ignore it. You honor the points, but you ignore the situation. But then, actually making the Empire walk the entirety of the field has to be a plus for the Valor. That showed that their defense has the dexterity and the ability to extend drives and wear out that offense, to make Coach Keefe for the Empire use that playbook. Make them have to turn the page and find different ways to try to exploit this Valor defense. If you're a defensive player for the Valor right now, you can't be mad about that. You know, arena games are long. Anybody can score at any time. So right now, it's just for their chance to come out, put some points on the board, and let the Valor offense try to walk the field.
Death by paper cut, so they did a nice job of limiting him on that possession. And in Arena League, that's what you want. You want to force them to drive the length of the field, not give up those quick hitters. So a nice job there as they pump up the music here in Capital One, and fans in the building right now having a good time. A couple of souvenir balls, one fan with a pass defense unofficially.
Yeah, I was going to say Cubs fans can remember something like that. The fan touches the ball. But I'll tell you, if you're looking at the Bud Light party zone right there behind the Empire kickoff coverage, and that's an exciting place to be. If you ever had a chance to go on down there, it's exciting with an onside kick.
Onside kick, and it does hit out of bounds first, so I believe the Valor may get great field position. Let's see what the official call is. It is Valor ball, and they will set up at the 9-yard line.
I think Coach Keefe saw that Chris DeVault had a great return that first time they kicked it to him, and they also had the veteran Reggie Gray back as well. So they said, you know what, we're going to try to catch him off guard. Get the little squib kicker right there, a little flipper. Right there's the onside, a nice little kick, heel bounce. Got it high, just not far enough. Greg Carr, of course, caught the touchdown. Couldn't do anything with the onside right there. Now the Valor working downhill from within the 10-yard line. Couldn't ask for anything more.
From a kicking perspective, one of the best kicked onside kicks I've seen in a while. Guys at other levels could probably take some notes off of that one.
Yeah, that was a really good onside kick like that. If I tried that, it would probably, just kick it right in the ground and probably break my ankle doing it. But then again, that's why these guys are the pros and we're not.
Smith setting up. Floater into the corner, can't hook up with Tolliver on that exchange.
They saw an opportunity in the corner, and they wanted to take Tolliver back on that post to send him back to the corner again, and it almost was there, just a hair shy, but that's just timing. That's timing between he and Smith, and they're going to get that. They had it work earlier. It's definitely going to work again.
So there you see head coach Gene Kokinos working with his quarterback. And it's been a tough go at the position, the 4th different starter he's had in 2 years. Yeah,
I mean, last year he had Eric Meyer, then followed by Sean Brackett, and then, of course, Warren Smith himself. Then came in with this year with Nick DeVillo. And now we're back to Warren. So a lot of quarterbacks, but that's just more opportunities for really great players to get on the field.
Smith drops back, quick hitter. Tolliver is in. Touchdown, Valor. There is a flag on the play, though. If it stands, it's a 9-yard touchdown. We'll check the laundry.
Result of the play is a touchdown. During the play, sideline warning. Washington, that is their first.
I'll take a sideline warning. I'll definitely do that. Good job of T.T. Tolliver again getting open. He does a quick zero out, turns around. They give him the space to make the move, and he takes advantage of it. Arthur Hobbs was the same DB that he was matched up on the previous play, allowed TT to get open in the corner. Now here he is matched up over top of him. Let the veteran get some space, and he used it to his advantage, putting the Valor back on top to end the first quarter. What can you say?
So far, Tolliver having himself a day. Catch a touchdown, talk to Dan Nolan, score another touchdown. He's having himself a great evening.
I think so. It's good to be T.T. Tolliver today.
And Clark stays perfect.
Mr. Clark, Mr. Perfect.
And he is the difference in the game so far. At the end of the first quarter, the Valor lead 14-12, and it's come down to the kicker.
Yeah, Pat Clark has been a difference maker on the scoreboard, but on the field you have to look at the fact that the Empire have really done a good job of taking advantage of the Valor defense. Of course, that first touchdown was the first play of the game. There wasn't much that the Valor could do about it, but then the Valor answer with their own 2 touchdowns, and of course Clark pushing it down the field is something that you really have to commend. But this winter, Monumental Sports Network went behind the scenes at the Washington Valor Tryouts, and we'll bring you the entire piece at halftime. But for now, here's a tease of the tryouts as AFL hopefuls gave it all they had to make the team.
December in Gambrills, Maryland feels a long way from summer football. But outside Valor's training facility at API, top athletes from around the country are filing in to get a look from Valor coaching staff.
Got a little atmosphere. It's going to be cold in that, man.
Tryouts provide the coaching staff with an opportunity to evaluate each player's athletic traits.
Let's get everybody up here real quick, fellas. Come on up here real close. Good-looking group here, guys. My name is Dean Kokinos. I'm the head coach of the Washington Valor. I want to welcome you here. This is our training facility, API. You know, arena football is unique. It really is different. So today is about traits. What do you do well? We'll find out. You got a trait that transitions to our league, our team, we'll see it. We know you're committed because you're here. We had 6 guys from last year's tryout make our roster at some point and played and finished in our team. 6. That's a lot. It's going to happen for everybody here? No, it's not. But that's a reality.
In life, you don't have many opportunities like this, and you guys are here. You made the decision to put it on the line and chase your dreams. Put everything you have in your heart and your minds into today. Leave it all out here, and don't have any regrets when you walk out the door.
And really the difference so far, Pat Clark coming in today a perfect 16 for 16, adding 2 more on there, went to Buffalo for school, and he's a heck of a kicker.
Yes, he is. And I have to be honest, though, I was thinking about somebody who's really been the difference maker of this game, and I'm going to go ahead and give him a nod right now, because he's my early, almost premature vote for player of the game, T.T. Tolliver. You got to think about it like this. He's the only player in history to win a Super Bowl and an Arena Bowl in the same year. He was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in '02. That playoff game, that Super Bowl game was actually played in '03. And then, of course, he was with the Arizona Rattlers in '03 as well. So a history maker on the field, responsible for 2 touchdowns early off in this game. You have to lead by example, and TT has done exactly that. Toe on the line, showing the Valor how it's done.
A heck of a nugget as we get another look at Clark. Right there with the fans. I love the access you have to the players in this. You get to keep a football. You don't have a ball boy trying to track it down. I love it.
This is great.
It's good as it goes through the uprights, but you don't get points for that. You get a touchback and a start at the 5-yard line.
Jordan Williams for the Empire back for that reception, wanting that one to go through the net. Unfortunately, can't keep that one. Fans get to have it. But the Empire are going to be coming out, going the opposite direction, trying to see if they can score as quickly as they did in the first possession of the game.
So 14-12, it is the Valor leading with 14:40 to go in the second quarter. Last time out, the defense forced a 10-play drive. Let's see what the Valor do here.
Again, I like that matchup between Addison and Hills to the near side.
Grady looking for the quick hitter, has Hills, doesn't hit the wall, keeps going, cuts back inside, turns around, gets a block, and a nice gain, and a souvenir for the fan. I love the way that he handed the ball off to the kid in the front row, as he went out of bounds on that 18-yard gain.
Joe Hills with a veteran move, able to protect himself and protect his knees and his team. But look at this reception. It's all about switching the DB. So Addison was supposed to drop off and Belton was supposed to come over and cover. But Grady saw Hills and took advantage and threw the pass, and then it just turned into playground football. At that point, Joe Hills just running around, but then has the wisdom to know, stick the ball out of bounds, save myself from a hit, able to play another down.
Of course, big old 75, Hayworth Hicks Sr. with a nice block. Inside give to the big fella, and a minimal gain there.
Yeah, so I would never want to tackle him, just for the record. Malia is a big, big man, but that's what you talked about earlier with fullbacks. In this game, they're really utilized to throw the defense off, keep them honest, and they all happen to be pretty big guys. I'm just saying, they don't miss meals.
It's like the Longest Yard remake when you had the great colleague playing some running back with Adam Sandler.
It's not what a defensive back wants to see, giving up 100 pounds to a fullback who knows his job is to get 3 yards.
Another quick hitter. Jones slammed into the wall after a short gain.
Roosevelt Falls out there, Collins, excuse me, out there on the tackle. And again, Jones is going to be one of those guys you're going to see him in a lot of different places. He's a versatile receiver, quick off the ball, quick on the hands. And so as you see number 7 go in motion, that's what makes it a problem for anybody going against the Empire. You've got Jones in motion and Hills stuck on the outside. Who do you double team? Who do you give that cheat side to?
3rd down and 6. That was a 3-yard gain. And since that first play, we really haven't seen Empire take a shot down the field. It's been a lot of dink and dunks. Grady this time looking deep. Has his man in the corner. Is it a catch? It is! Malachi Jones with his 2nd of the day.
Malachi Jones is one of those receivers that the AFL is all about. They're about having guys like that who can make a 19-yard touchdown reception in the back corner of the end zone, tracking the ball, not worrying about where he's going, knowing that if you track the ball, keep your feet, you'll be fine inbounds, avoids the contact. Just one of those things, he's got so much talent. Look at the way he's able to run this flag route. Takes a straight upfield, turns outside. Addison's there, gives the jump just a hair too early. I know Jones is relieved that there was no wall right there.
And the type of receiver you see in the AFL game is the type that you start seeing now in the NFL, those smaller, quick receivers. Yeah. And they're really developed right here. This is a trickle up, perhaps.
Absolutely. When you look at the difference between the two, it would be quick and fast. Quick is a guy like Jones who can give you 5 catches, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Fast is a guy like Kadri Ismail, who works for the Brigade broadcast. These guys can work on the top of a defense and really extend once you get past 20 and 30 yards. Quickness on the arena game is dangerous for defense because that means you're good in tight spaces and you're able to create space. So if you're a defender against the Empire, keep an eye on Malachi Jones.
Let's go ahead and send it down to the sidelines to Dan Nolan.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Like we've already said, this game is on Facebook. We want to hear from you all night long. The second question of the night, the Washington Capitals, well, they'll start their competition in the Eastern Conference Finals tonight in Tampa Bay. And so we asked the question, which Caps player do you think would be best in the AFL? So far, we've got my favorite response. Dante Cresswell says Tom Wilson at Jack linebacker. And to be honest, guys, I can't disagree with him. Tom Wilson can really pack a punch, no doubt about it. Who do you all have?
Who you got, Brian?
I'll let you go first, Wes.
Oh, no, not me first. I'm trying to say, who would I have as a Caps player? I mean, I like what Holby does on defense. So I'm just saying, I might have to throw him somewhere in my second. He's got vision and cat-like reflexes. What can I say?
I got to go with Wilson with how much of a load he is. I mean, the Penguins had to beg for him not to be on the ice, and it still didn't matter.
Too true, but we have to give a nod to Ovi because when you talk about a guy who can move like fullbacks as far as the size, especially if you looked at Ovechkin's legs. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Earl Campbell with his lower body physique. I'd put him in at fullback. He can move the ball about 3 yards.
My question of the day is, how does Ovi shop for jeans?
I don't think he does. I think they're all custom made from the finest linens. Oh, man. But here's the thing about it, that so far in the game, you're looking at Albany, who's run 16 plays, Washington's run 8, and yet the Valor are down only 5 points. That's a big differential when you talk about the amount of snaps that the defense has to deal with on the Valor side of the ball. They've been out here, and we talked about them being a focal point at the beginning of the game. It's all about what the Valor defense is able to do. But now they're about to get the ball on offense, so equally as such, offense got to put up points, keep your defense in a good position to help you win a game.
Spencer throwing up the X. As here we go. And that is fielded cleanly. And into the wall we go. That's Reggie Gray with a solid return.
Reggie Gray on the return. You saw Hobbs and Malachi Jones there on the defense. Reggie Gray, such explosive speed. I love the way that he found the corner. Work upfield, let the defense tell you where to go, and then it just turns into a track meet. He tried to find a little hop step if he could. If he would have maybe gotten a hair of a little bit more of a block from T.T. Tolliver, they might have set him free. But all in all, you can't be mad on a return like that.
So here we go. There you see Coach and QB Kokinas talking to Smith, trying to draw it up. So far, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, as Smith has had himself a great day today. Very efficient.
Next man up was the philosophy, and Smith has answered the call. 3 of 5, 36 and 2 T's. I'll take that. That's great output from a quarterback.
Smith drops back. Big hit there as he was looking for his man Josh Reese. Incomplete. Late flag comes out though.
Late flag, little conversation there. Mario Norman there on the defense. And that's one of those plays as a receiver that took forever. Josh Reese in the slot trying to work upfield on the seam and sit down, waiting on a timing route.
2 fouls on the play. Personal foul, defense, number 1. Personal foul, offense, number 74. They will offset. 2nd down.
One of the things that Smith is going to have to work on is the timing of this route. He takes the drop. Instead of throwing it early, he sits in the drop. Reese was there, gave enough time for Norman to come up and make a play on the ball. Valor Sony to come up and make a play on the ball. And again, it's just about timing. You want to be quick and crisp as much as you can. And for a receiver like that, you know that it's not an up momentum route. You're going to go and turn your back to the defense. You got to find a way to sit low. I know Smith wish he would have got it out just a hair earlier. That probably would have been a completion.
A little flat-footed as well. Couldn't get enough on it. Smith drops back. Near side hits Windsor. First time we've called his name. And that will be a minimal gain.
Well, Windsor, a big receiver outside. And I tell you, he enters week 5, having recorded 2 touchdowns in each of his last seasons and a season-high 3 against Baltimore in week 1. So Windsor's a big dude, and I know he's chasing history. He might be able to supplant it at some point tonight's game.
So that brings up a 3rd and 6. Again, there is no punting. You either go for it or try a field goal. Valor don't want to have to think about that. Looking to convert right here. Smith rolling, and that's going to be a souvenir.
It's at row 6 right there, seat 12. Figure he's trying out for the Valley. He was inspired by that package we ran a little bit earlier about the tryouts. A couple months late, we'll see about next year.
There is a flag on the field, though. Let's check out what the call is.
Single defense, number 99, twist, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Oh yeah, you can't twist, you can't do stunts like that in arena ball. I know the instinct in football says, ooh, I can rip, I can twist. You can't do that in this game right there, and it's really a matter of safety. You want to protect players, both the linemen and, of course, your quarterbacks. Smith did a great job of extending that play, shuffling, backpedaling out of the pocket, and he knew if he didn't have anywhere to go with it, give it to a fan.
So an automatic 1st down. And Wes, if you wouldn't mind, explain a twist.
So a twist is, depending on, it's the outside inside guy. So you have your inside lineman, whether it be a nose guard or a defensive tackle, he will twist and roll outside when you bring the defensive end inside. And so it's just, again, it's a safety precaution in indoor football to keep someone from getting hurt.
Smith drops back, has some room to run, slides, does take a hit. Fans want a call. Don't see the flag out.
That's one of those calls that as a coach you get real nervous when your starting quarterback gets to running downfield like that. But Smith did everything he was supposed to do. Took the dive. Protect your body. Slide for safety. It's the smartest thing that you can do. You've already gotten the yardage. That was 6 great yards that he was able to pick up on that play. Good veteran move. Again, even though he's been on the bench for these past couple of years from the Valor, he knows what he's doing under center.
So that brings up a 2nd and 3. Keep an eye on Gray in motion. Smith gives it to the fullback, and the big guy will rumble for about 2 yards. That is Will Corbin out of Appalachian State, the 350-pounder.
Will Corbin is not playing games with you. When you see that man coming downhill, you better move out of the way. 315 pounds, he does his job. Able to get right there, take the quick handoff, and get upfield. They're not expecting you to do full breakout, you know, take 40 yards in one chunk. It's all about momentum, moving the offense upfield, keeping the defense honest.
I love the all-16 camera angle there. Smith drops back and has it ripped away. A great defensive play there out of Mario Norman.
Mario Norman reminds me of another Norman that lives here in the DC area, doing a great job in the secondary of breaking that up. Windsor had that catch. That ball was in his hands. But Norman did an excellent job not allowing him to secure it. And I know as a particular sports fan of certain teams, securing passes is one of the things that vexes you from time to time, but at least it wasn't the ground that caused it this time. It was the actual defender.
For sure, Windsor, you gotta get that grip strength down. So that brings up a 4th down and a long 1. Smith gonna look. Has a man, hits it, thinking end zone, is he in? Touchdown, Valor, Duval gets it in.
Chris Duval, the Fighting Illini, that's where he's from. 21-yard reception, found a soft spot in the defense, stayed by the wall, and then did not avoid contact. He knew exactly what he was supposed to do, go north. Go north and get across that goal line. Now here the Valor are down 1 with an extra point opportunity to score. Look at this route. I love that Smith is able to find time, finds a soft spot in this wall, and just Duval being aggressive. That's what you want. But here's what's interesting also about that play. That particular play has been a point of vexation for the Valor. They've been beaten on that play before. Good job of Coach Kokinas of saying, hey, if it works for them, why can't it work for us?
Mr. Automatic, Clark drills that through the mini uprights.
This is a good game right here. Again, I love what Duval does right here. Catches it with his hands and immediately turns upfield, makes the choice to drop the shoulder and go for it. And that's what you want out of your receivers, especially in front of the home crowd. They're looking for their first W of the year. It's going to take everything. They have come to play today. That's what it's all about. That's the Valor mantra for this year, is come to play.
Both teams have seemingly scored on every possession. Let's see how it's affected the line in Vegas. Let's send it out to Jonathan.
Yeah, guys, underbettors can't be happy with the pace at this point, especially a big touchdown like that. You were sitting on a couple long drives that maybe could have at least extended us out to halftime for the next drive, but underbettors not happy with the way this has been played. And if you bet on the Albany Empire, you have to be unhappy, too, with that defensive line penalty, because you could have maybe sat on 4th down, maybe stopped them, gotten the ball back, and maybe gotten another score. But that penalty looms large right now at this point.
Thanks, Jonathan. And you bring up a great point. The way this game shakes out, that 3rd down penalty is going to loom large in the outcome because it's a fresh set of downs.
Penalties are important in every sport that they are levied in. I don't know any competition that doesn't have them. But when you talk about 3rd down penalties, in arena ball, that can extend drives. You know that there's no punting on 4th down, so 3rd almost functions as a 2nd down part 2. But it's also a crucial down because a lot of the offenses take shots. And we saw that the Valor took advantage of a shot right then with Chris Duval. He had a great return at the beginning of the game to try to set the tone for the offense. And here you find him on the corner, open and now, and here you go with some points.
Of course, Empire had a nice long drive. The Valor side will one up here. They go 6 plays, 6 minutes and 37 seconds. Smith now with 5 completions, 61 yards and 3 touchdowns. He definitely spent some time in the film room. You can tell with the way he's playing so far.
I just love the intensity that the fans are having here at the game. Of course, we talked about the Bud Light Party Zone, and The kids are up doing the dances and whatnot. That's what arena football is all about. It's a great day on a Friday night. It's kind of warm. Come on inside with some air conditioning, relax, and enjoy some great action.
How's your backpack kid move? Do you have that one down, Wes?
In spirit, yes. All of my dance moves are perfected in spirit.
I just mastered the Dougie. It took me a couple years.
We're still doing that?
I don't know, but I finally got it down. Off the net, that's returnable. Slipping through. And about a 15-yard return there, brought up by Empire.
Michael Everett out of Southwest Minnesota State. The Mustangs, representing Miami, Florida, saves a touchdown. On that return, Williams pretty much saw daylight, but you have to give it up for Everett for staying with the play. Again, Williams takes it off the net, turns upfield, finds a crease with a missed tackle, and he's about to go somewhere. And you see Everett come up and make a great attempt at a strip and a great tackle. He, along with Quay Cox, doing their job on the special teams, trying to make sure that you don't give up any big plays.
4:50 left to go in the first half. Grady looking, has Hills, and he will complete that to the 20-yard line in plus territory.
Well, that's what Joe Hills does. He's a big target with big hands, and he's going to catch the ball. If he's ever matched up against somebody who's smaller than him, that's what's going to happen. I mean, 16 yards on that route. It's a reason that these two have been so formidable in this league. He finds a big target with the 8-1 on him, and then it's just a matter of, can Belton get from behind Joe Hills? You can see the frustration on Belton when he knows that I can't stop this big guy like that. So it's all about technique. The Valor have to find a way to stay in front of Hills.
Brings up a fresh set of down. Grady looking, has a man wide open. What a move. Touchdown, Empire. Colin Taylor all alone and will stroll in for 6.
Colin Taylor with a great 19-yard reception right there. Of course, putting the Empire right back up on top. And the question is, who is not in their place? Who is out of position? The Valor secondary didn't match up on their man outside. And again, you saw Quay Cox step up early. He was assuming he had safety help over the top, and it just wasn't there.
For sure, as we go back to Spencer's, missed a couple. Gets that one through. As the seesaw battle continues, Empire takes a 26-21 lead, 3:21 to go in the first half.
I tell you, Brian, this game is kicking on through right now, speeding along. And you have to ask yourself, how do we fix the problem in the defense in the secondary with miscommunication? Belton has his man. He was where he was supposed to be. Michael Knight looks to be the defensive back that should have been the safety help over the top outside for Quay Cox. So they've got to figure out and make sure that everybody's on the same page. Call out your man. And if you're going to do any type of passing anyone, if you're going to pass, and what I mean by passing is if you're the cornerback on the outside and your job is to stick with your outside man only up to 7 or 10 and then pass him on to a DB, you've got to make sure that that safety knows that that's what's going to happen. That's just a matter of communication.
All right, thanks, Wes. Let's set it down to Dan Nolan on the sideline.
All right, thank you, Brian. Well, earlier we already discussed this a little bit. The AFL rulebook, a little bit different from the traditional football rulebook. And so I took some time to go through the AFL rulebook and pick some of my favorites. Of course, we have to start with perhaps the most debated rule in football across the board. It's the catch rule. Now, last week, we saw Brandon Collins of the Baltimore Brigade catch this insane touchdown, and where he dove over the wall, and his foot did not touch the ground, but it did touch the wall. In the AFL, that counts. I'm going to quote straight from the rule book on this. Officials are instructed to allow any catch that a receiver contacts the live wall, even if a foot does not come down in bounds or touches the turf. Now, the next rule I want to get to is called the Moises Alou catch rule. Now, for this one, let me explain a little bit. We saw it a little bit earlier in the first half. If a fan interferes with a forward pass and the official deems it catchable, then they would replay the down. However, if the official deems it uncatchable or that the opposing player would intercept it, they will go ahead and move on to the next down. And finally, this is a rule that I think everyone can relate to on this broadcast team, guys. All of us have some sort of vision impairment. It's the contact lens rule. In overtime, if you lose a contact lens, you are charged a timeout. Only in overtime. Just a few fun rules you can find in the AFL rulebook.
You know, my favorite catch of all time, I'm going to let Wes go first. What's your favorite catch of all time?
Of all time, it might have to be, I can't believe I referenced Randy Moss earlier, but he's one of my favorites. I'd say Randy Moss in double coverage against the Dolphins. Tom Brady throws it to him 60 yards. Randy catches it one hand with 2 players hanging off of him. Might be the greatest catch ever.
I'm going Romo to Dez Bryant, 2014 NFL playoffs in Green Bay, as Dez caught that. And, of course, the rule has changed, so it should have counted, but we do have a flag on this, another onside try.
I'm glad Josh Reese caught that onside kick right there, because, again, those balls are live, and it could have easily turned into a real bad situation in the Empire's favor. Good job on Josh Reese returning that, but again, like you said.
Offside, kicking team, half the distance to goal, first down.
Those penalties can hurt you, so here we are.
And this is the second time the Valor will start a drive at the 5.
And this is the second time that the Empire have tried an onside kick against the Valor. Whether it be great strategy trying to see if they can get a quick turnover, or might it be fear of the return game of the Valor.
And of course, if you see the clock running, change of possession, you're probably used to saying, oh, it's a clock stoppage. Not in the AFL. We keep it rolling.
No, this clock rolls into the last minute. Last minute of each half, then they can start stopping it.
Love the flow of the game. Smith sends Gray in motion. Looking, gonna tuck it. Does he get there? He does! Touchdown Valor. Smith takes it himself.
Warren Smith Jr., another rushing touchdown. 5 yards, and I tell you, 8 yards, and I'm here to tell you right now, you can add that to his career stats, all right? Career-wise, 37 rushes, 154 yards, and 6 touchdowns on the ground. He added another one to it today. That's the poise that you want out of this quarterback. That's why Coach Kokinos had the confidence to say Smith is our guy. Yes, we've had other quarterbacks. Smith's the guy that we've got today, and he's willing and capable to come in and do the job that we need.
I love the poise he's showing tonight.
And like one of your favorite quarterbacks, able to be the holder as well.
Yeah, Clark.
Special teams.
Clark bolts it through again, and automatic. Take another look at Smith here. Josh Vack doesn't see anything he likes and says, you know what, I'm going to take it myself. Makes a little move, protects himself the way he goes down.
He makes a quarterback move. That's a quarterback move. Just a little bit of shimmy of the shoulder right there. As you see, he keeps the ball high, the threat of passing, makes a quick flip, and is able to get upfield. Again, using that momentum. A lot of these defensive backs don't like tackling in space like that, especially against a quarterback. So Smith did a really good job of keeping the ball high, keeping that threat of passing looming in the defensive player's mind. And if you can get a defensive player to think, it's over.
And so far, every drive that has happened has resulted in a touchdown.
I love that, don't you? It's arena football right there. As we look at Coach Keefe trying to draw up something real quick, it's the Valor special teams come back on field with some energy and momentum working out for them. Here they are up 2 against a team that they technically were supposed to be down to.
And check out the hat cam doing hat cam things, getting us up close and personal with your Washington Valor.
Here we go. Time for Clark to do another one. You know what? I'm trying to figure out how many more touchdowns they can squeeze in the last 2 minutes here in this game.
That's going to change a lot of things, especially out in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But don't you love that component of the game where you're able to, you know, place a bet on some arena football, and 1 minute you got a spread, next thing, it's a tie ball game.
Returnable flag is out. That looks to be a 4-yard return. We'll check the flag on the field.
And the body language of the Valor, I think that's going to be against the Empire. They came down clapping the entire time on field.
Block in the back. Return team, number 5. Half the distance to goal, first down.
So Taylor's 4-yard return will net 2 after it's a half the distance, backing it up.
The Valor have momentum right now. Offense was able to do their job. And now here it is on the defensive side. You see Jimmy Gordon right there. Captain on the defense squaring up against the captain with Grady on the offense. You know, Grady and Hill's a dynamic duo. They're known for putting up points. Again, that was, if I'm not mistaken, the 3rd penalty for the Empire. So they've got to get to work in north. Go north.
Grady drops that pump fake and will complete that to his man Colin Taylor.
Colin Taylor being really smart, getting the ball out of bounds as we get to the end of this quarter. You're going to see a lot of receivers do that. They'll get to the sidelines and extend the ball out of bounds and try to save as much clock as they can.
And of course now, as Wes mentioned, the clock stops at 1 minute. Similar to the NFL, instead of a 2-minute warning, you have a 1 minute warning.
Right, 1 minute, the clock's going to stop on the referee's call if there's necessity, of course, due to injury and or timeout. So those are the only 3 conditions that they'll stop the clock. Otherwise, it's high-flying action here in the Capital One Arena.
For sure, and right now, if you're the Valor, you want to close out this half strong. Remember, they deferred, so they're going to start the next half with the ball.
Right, very smart. So the thing is, if I was Coach Kokinas down in that huddle, I'm thinking to myself, don't give up big plays. No matter what you do, don't give up a big play right here.
All right, let's head down to Dan Nolan.
Well, if you like big play wide receivers on the offensive end for the Valor, you're tuned into the right broadcast, Wes, because 3 of the Valor wide receivers are 3 of the greatest AFL receivers in history. T.T. Tolliver, Rod Windsor, big play Reggie Gray. All 3 of them rank in the top 16 in a variety of categories: receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. To profile a few of them real quick, T.T. Tolliver already with 2 touchdowns today in the first quarter. He leads the AFL all-time in receptions and receiving yards. Top 3 in touchdowns, adding to his over 300 already in this game. And the other guy to focus on, Rod Windsor. He's been arguably the best offensive player for this Valor team so far this season. Only 55 yards until he hits that top 10 in AFL history mark in receiving yards. By the way, he's had 2 touchdowns in every game he's played so far this year. None yet, but if we base it on the numbers, the second half could be a big one for Rod Windsor.
I tell you, Rod Windsor, you're talking about a guy who's a 3-time first-team All-Arena player, 3-time second-team All-Arena. Of course, Arena Bowl MVP back in 2013 with the Arizona Rattlers. This guy is a history maker. He's been around the league for a while, and he can really contribute. And just think about his contribution today. He's had the 1 reception, but all it takes is 1. All it takes is 1 more reception, 1 more play, and he can get all that yardage. Tolliver has 3 catches for 36 yards and 2 TDs. Gray has yet to get him a catch, but again, it's only a matter of time. These guys are going to find their groove, and I'm glad they're finding it right now in front of their home crowd, up 2 points with a minute left in the second quarter.
The beauty of this Valor team, they're talented on the outside. It's just a matter of Smith getting him the ball, and he's starting to facilitate just like John Wall does in this building. Smith drops back, looking off the hands of Hills, and that falls incomplete. The clock will stop with 52 seconds to go, and 3rd down upcoming.
True, they are a dominant and dynamic duo, but even they can sometimes not be on the same page. Grady delivering that one just a little too high. Hill's not able to come down with it, but the good job of the secondary for the Valor with Addison and Belton. Belton was there to defend the play. These guys are staying aggressive. If you see the ball go to a receiver, 8 out of 10 times there's going to be a Valor jersey right next to them.
Well, out in Western New York, you had another 81 for a season, T.O. that dropped a couple. Looking deep for Hills, hits him, and trying to run some clock, and he will fall down. That is an interesting play there. That's kind of the smart thing to do, but in Vegas, they must be pulling out their hair.
Joe Hills pulled, oh my gosh, a great football play right there. It will drive you insane if you had him in your fantasy league, if you're betting on this play. So smart. Gets the separation, makes the catch, sees the defender is down, and instead of running it in, says, nope, we'll bleed some clock.
And he does put his own record in jeopardy. He leads the league with 83 straight games with a touchdown. I guess he believes he'll get it later, the old Brian Westbrook play.
But that's smart. Yes, Brian Westbrook was the player who I was thinking of, couldn't recall at the time. But you're absolutely right. What I love about that play from Joe Hills, that was a team play. Sure, Joe Hills could have scored, but we talked about arena football. You can score in 2 seconds. Why would you score immediately and give the Valor a chance to come back and do the same thing?
Defense. That penalty has been declined. 1st down.
So as a team play, it makes sense to not go inbounds. Now here, if you're a Valor player, though, you got to take advantage of this. You look at someone coming in your home field and decide not to score because they're confident enough in their offense that they can bleed the clock and score last going into the half, knowing that they're going to potentially get the ball back. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not going to happen, brother. Not going to happen. The Valor know that they're going to get the ball in the second half. The defense right now, make a stand. You got 32 seconds left to go. That's probably going to take longer than 5 real-time minutes. You got plenty of opportunity right here. You're already up 2 points anyway.
That dead ball foul, probably some of that frustration and that disrespectful type of play, but
man,
now it's time for the Valor defense to try to stand up and make Hills pay for what he did there. Let's see if, in fact, Hills had the foresight as you get a look at Coach Rob Keefe.
I tell you, Hills is a problem. He and Grady, coach decides to go ahead and get that timeout in there at 19-2.
Timeout on the field, Albany, the first of the half. 30-second timeout.
And again, more opportunities. They were smart. This is why Hills did that. This is exactly why he did that. They don't want to give the Valor the ball back. You got 3 timeouts now, 2. Go ahead and bleed the clock. Either you score or nobody scores.
You can take the Valor with you wherever you are. Watch live Valor games on Monumental Sports Network's iOS or Android mobile apps.
I myself happen to be an Android user, and well, I have an Apple as well, but most of my Monumental stuff's on my Android. And I love the multicam thing. That's fun.
I'm team hat cam.
Ah, you might have to get a hat cam up here. That'd be kind of interesting. Are we Macarena right now? We're taking it back with the Macarena.
There are kids here that don't even know about the fad, yet they're executing it in the stands.
Because they know how to have a good time.
Let's see if Grady can execute here. They'll give it to the big guy, bowling his way down to the 1.
Well, I should be mad that he did that, but I should be happy as well, because I told you, big guys rumbling and tumbling downfield will punish you right there. Wesley Maha is a big man. Downhill, most guys, it's going to take 2 or 3 to make the tackle, but Quaycock's doing a really good job of making a tackle, stopping the 9-yard gain, what could have easily been a touchdown, and that was probably what Coach Keefe was drawing up right there. Give it to the big man, punish the defense a little bit, bleed some clock.
1 timeout left. I just feed it to Malia again. Why not? He got 9 on that last one. Out of Western New Mexico, 280 pounds. You had the refrigerator. I'm not sure what kitchen appliance you can call them, because there's not one that would be big enough. A double oven, perhaps?
Double oven. Man, check out that hat cam right there, powered by Action Streamer. This is where all the action is. If you're down there in the Bud Light party zone, it doesn't get any better than that.
They'll hand it to Jones, and Malachi Jones will stroll in for a touchdown, leaving 7 seconds on the clock. Just about perfect execution of clock management on that drive.
Malachi Jones, being the versatile player that he is, on a 2-yard gain, real quick. And the problem with him is, at his height, you really don't get a chance to catch him before he's gotten the ball if he's in motion behind the backfield.
And one of the Valor players shaken up as you take another look at that score. Seal the edge, find an alley, and get the touchdown. Does Empire on that one. Malachi Jones, that's his 3rd scoring play of the day, had 2 receptions.
Yeah, he's a really, really dangerous offensive tool, weapon per se. That's J.R. Collins that we're seeing down there on the ground out of Virginia Tech. He's a Hokie from Stafford, Virginia. You want to see what happened here on the play. See him at the bottom of the screen right there at the end. He's able to get upfield. Looks like he got blown up on the play, but it looks like his knee kind of gave out a little bit on the play. So, but back to the action. Seems that he's up on his feet, able to walk out under his own power. That's a good thing to see.
That's a great sign. Of course, you see it with turf. You kind of get caught up in there. Great to see him being able to walk off the turf under his own power.
And to that point about the turf, and people always ask, you know, how soft is the turf? How soft are the walls? They're soft enough to cushion a little bit, but this still is, you know, this is professional sports. That's a real wall behind that padding there. That's real flooring underneath that concrete there.
Behind the wall is the boards that the Caps play on.
Yep.
The field, I remarked when we were walking across to our booth, has a little bit of a bounce to it, but there's only so much shock absorption you can feel when you got guys 300+ pounds flying around out there.
Well, that's why these guys do such a great job training at API.
2-point conversion try. Looking, Hills, is he in? He's in. And it was close, but the officials confer. And check out Maui with a little shimmy, but Hills will get it in, and that'll get some of those missed extra points back.
I tell you, Hills is doing his job. You look for a big veteran receiver like that, try to get him the ball, no matter where it is, whether it's through contact or not.
And they just saw the replay in the arena, fans booing, and it's close. Take another look here and decide for yourself at home. I don't think he got in.
Almost down the line, catch is made up front. Contact with the wall with the right arm first before he reached. If I was able to replay that, I would. Again, from the other side, you're going to see Hills start inside, work out. He's going to make the catch. But that reach at the wall at the end, Valor player saying that he was down by contact against the wall, 2 yards short. The referee on hand.
There's a challenge, it appears. The red flag is out, so the refs are going to review it.
That's a good look. Of course, like you said, when the home crowd got a look at it, they immediately disagreed with the initial call on the field. But that leaves you with 7.4 seconds on the clock, regardless of what the call is going to be. But again, looking at this replay, the fact that they were able to get separation and get Joe Hills in space is something the Valor have to be concerned with. You see Hills against Addison. He's able to get the separation. Never crosses the line. Never crosses. You see the right arm touch the wall before he extends.
And as soon as you touch the wall there, driven into the wall, that counts as being down.
That does count. So they should, based upon those rules, should spot it about the 1.5, 2 yard line for the Empire to go in. Again, Addison and Belton, the 2 veteran players on this team, the 2 leaders in the secondary, both matched up against Joe Hills, refusing to let him cross the goal line. Did a really good job.
From our vantage point, it looked like the elbow and hand touched before he extended the ball.
And again, looking to the outside. You want to see it on the right side of your screen. After he makes the catch, he's going to go 1-2. Step foot, step again, and right as he's about to turn, that right arm is going to touch the top of that wall. And see where that ball is, right there. His hand is on the wall before he starts extending. Right above that API sign. If you roll it back right, we'll go forward just a hair again to see this replay. 2 more frames, and it should be right there. So you see where the ball is when he touches that. He is not across the goal line. The ball is not extended. It's so close. It's a game of inches. Whether it's outdoor football, arena football, it's a game of inches, and that's why we love the game.
I think in arena football, it's a game of centimeters.
Ah, I like that.
After review, the ball did not cross the plane before it hit the sideline. Therefore, the 2-point conversion is no good. Washington has won their first challenge and is not charged a timeout.
A huge play, and that's a momentum shift going into the locker room. You thought Empire was going to enjoy that, but now the Valor feel good because they got that stop. And they still will have a player or 2 to work with before halftime.
Yes, that is exactly what you want out of your defense. Again, that's why you never give up on a play. No matter what the offense does, you play all the way through, and the Valor did a great job. Again, Addison, Belton, both collapsing and attacking the offensive player. Joe Hills refusing to let him across that goal line, and it worked in their favor.
It's momentarily muffed, scooped up, dropped. Is that going to be at the 1? We'll call it the half-yard line because that's inside the 1 as Duvault was bottled up.
Ironically, in the exact same spot on the field that the previous play was questioned, Duvault comes 1 yard out into the exact same spot. And you can see the trouble he had off the net, bounced off, hit him in the face. Fortunate to get the roll that came back to him. Trying to get upfield. Great hand shoestring tackle by the Empire.
And on that, if you got just a little bit of breathing room, you could have tried a field goal, but that mishandle there, and you're almost better off staying in the end zone.
You would try to. The instinct is to bring it on out because, you know, there's never been a return man who ever thought he was going to get tackled. But good job at Duvault for keeping possession of the ball more than anything.
The length of the field to go, and Well, let's see what Smith does. Short pass, TT Tolliver will extend it out of bounds with 0.7 seconds left. So they will get another play. I know your clock on your screen says 0-0-0, but we have that NBA style clock above. We have 0.7 of a second to go before halftime.
And in the NBA, of course, it takes 0.4 seconds to get a jump shot off. Well, in arena, all you got to do is snap the ball. Clock rolls out, you got one play regardless of the time left on the clock. So it's up to the Valor to see if they want to go deep. You'll see the Empire DBs have already dropped 15, actually 20 yards off the ball. So they're expecting and trying to protect any deep plays.
The way Clark's been kicking, why not give him a shot? We'll get a whistle before the snap. Looks like it's going to be a timeout, Empire.
Field, Albany, their third and final of the half. 30-second timeout.
I like that. See what you're doing on offense and talk it over on defense.
And you would think that, you know, you'd let it go, but Coach Kokinos knows for a fact every play matters. And true, the Valor will get the ball coming into the second half. But why not take an opportunity right now and see if you can try to score and get some extra points on the board, keep that momentum going to close out the first half.
And in this situation, per AFL rules, the position that kind of gets mitigated is the linebacker, because you can only drop 5 yards back. So you're really only defending with the secondary. The linebacker's essentially out of the play once this goes beyond 10 yards.
That is correct. Your MAC linebacker has to come downhill, but your Jack linebacker, he's got to stay pretty much within the box, 8 to 8 on each side, 5 deep. So he's not going to be able to drop. So it is all on the DBs.
And it looks like the Valor say, checkmate, we're going to call a timeout. We see your adjustment. We're going to adjust to your adjustment because I heard you like adjustments.
And at the end of the day, we'll just take a knee. That's kind of how that works. No, but good job by Coach Kokinos doing the exact same thing. Finding the matchup, see what the defense is going to show you, see if there's an opportunity to take advantage of any weakness that they might present. But right now, I'd say go ahead and send one deep and be done with it. I like your idea earlier about the possible kick, though.
You know, I saw Tyreek Hill run a play against the Cowboys. Throw it short, get a convoy, and follow it. Especially with the style of players you got, that could be an opportunity for a play like that, especially in this type of environment.
An entourage would be a good thing. Perhaps getting Rod Windsor, maybe TT Tolliver, get him just beyond the Jack linebacker, and do like Joe Hills did and wait for the rest of your enclave to help you out.
And here we go. Short pass, has a blocker. Inside, into the wall, and my mic is not linked to Coach Kokinos, but he took the idea and ran with it, but will come up about 5 yards short on that toss to Windsor, and he gets a little bit closer to that record.
Rod Windsor doing exactly what you talked about, getting the pass outside, waiting for the rest of his teammates to come and create some space on the field for him to get upfield, turns on the Jets as much as he can. It's just a good job by Norman.
Arthur Hobbs did just enough, took enough of the block. You'll see him here out of Empire coming onto your screen in a moment. Does just enough to force Windsor wide. You'll see it right here as he dives at the legs, forces him wide. All right, let's head down to Dan Nolan, who's with Coach Kokinos for his first half reaction.
All right, thanks, guys. Coach, last week, play the same team. That'll look way sharper tonight than they did last weekend. What adjustments were made over the last week to get ready for?
You know, it was fairness. We lost our quarterback, and that was Warren's first play in a long time. So he's getting a little better. He gets to see the game a little better this week. He's getting a little better rhythm. So we're just trying to keep him in rhythm. That's all we're trying to do right now.
And the offense got off to a pretty good start. What have you expected from him coming into the game, and what have you thought of his play so far?
He's playing the game we want right now. So he's playing within himself, and it's a good thing. So we got 30 more minutes. We're to keep playing.
All right, good luck in the second half.
Yeah, appreciate it,
guys.
And thank you, Dan. As you take a look at your first half game summary, it's been all the touchdowns and this game summary is brought to you by Mars. The only drive that didn't result in a touchdown was ended by the halftime clock. That's how efficient these offensive teams have been.
Yeah, both teams pretty much not afraid to light up the scoreboard. You talk about 5 for the Empire, 4 for the Valor. And like Coach Coquino said, it's really about the timing and Smith getting comfortable in the offense. So many different adjustments that this team has had to make with new quarterbacks and different personnel on the team. It's good to see that they are finally starting to gel and hopefully put this in the opportunity to win.
We teased it earlier. The Monumental Sports Network team got exclusive access to the Washington Valor Open tryouts earlier this year. Here's an exclusive look into the tryout and Dean Coquinos forming his squad for the season.
The first ever year for the Valor in the books.
Watching the Valor, it's been so exciting.
Arena football came back to D.C. in a big way last summer, drawing the highest attendance in the league.
And now he's taking a selfie.
The energy in here is crazy.
Touchdown for Washington.
But in the end, they were unable to make it to the playoffs. Before next season, Coach Dean Coquinos holds a tryout to find playmakers flying under the radar. He is determined to get a championship in D.C.
You know, we're ready to take off in year 2, right? And it's going to be a different type of year for us. When we evaluate players, it's a trait. You know, a guy runs well, or he moves well, or he hits the ball well, or he follows direction. Any trait, it stands out. Anybody. We want that guy marked, that number. It's going to be a different deal in 18. You know, we're on a mission this year to win championships.
December in Gambrills, Maryland feels a long way from summer football. But outside Valor's training facility at API, top athletes from around the country are filing in to get a look from Valor coaching staff.
Got a little atmosphere. It's going to be cold in that, man.
Tryouts provide the coaching staff with an opportunity to evaluate each player's athletic traits.
Let's get everybody up here real quick, fellas. Come on up here real close. Good-looking group here, guys. My name is Dean Coquinos. I'm the head coach of the Washington Valor. I want to welcome you here. This is our training facility, API. You know, arena football is unique. It really is different. So today it's about traits. What do you do well? We'll find out. You got a trait that transitions to our league, our team, we'll see it. We know you're committed because you're here. We had 6 guys from last year's tryout make our roster at some point and played and finished in our team. 6. That's a lot. It's going to happen for everybody here? No, it's not. But that's the reality.
In life, you don't have many opportunities like this, and you guys are here. You made the decision to put it on the line and chase your dreams, put everything you have in your heart and your minds into today, leave it all out here, and don't have any regrets when you walk out the door.
Let's go. Let's go.
Wake up.
Let's get it. Hey, we're going to win today, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's get a win on 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Coach's evaluation team consists of a mix of coaches, API training staff, and veteran players.
Year 2, baby. Yes, year 2. Let's go. Share your story, man. It's it's true, you know. So it's an opportunity. So. Absolutely.
Coach has recruited Jake Payne and J.R. Collins to assist with the evaluation. They were 2 of the players to make the team from tryouts last year.
Year removed, man. Last year, this was you guys, right? Yeah. You know, you play for us. You know how we work. You know what we expect. And the other thing is what? Good players know good players, right? Exactly.
JR is working with Virginia Tech alum Corey Marshall. He's seen his explosive power off the line, a trait Coach wants.
Start like that, then, you know, so you can work more off the edge.
Corey, how we doing? Dean Coquinos. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming out. Looking forward. Just have a good day there, all right? All right, good. All right.
Payne's longtime friend, defensive lineman Brandon Robson's been working on his speed. They'll be competing for the same position on the defensive line.
Brandon, don't do that. No static stretching before a 40, bro. Just high knees. We just want you doing really good in one-on-ones.
Fullback Tyler Scalzi has been on the Valor's radar. He's flown from Texas to fight for a spot.
What are you doing now?
Selling cars and training.
Are you really? I might buy a car from you.
Hey, there you go. we deliver anywhere.
Did you apply online or did you walk up? Or?
I did the online.
So we got all his info. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming out.
Like this.
Whatever you need to do to get ready for your 40. I know a lot of you guys got a routine. We'll go 1, we'll go 2, we'll go 3, we'll go fast. We'll get you circled back through.
We got short shuttle on this side. We're going to have broad on this side.
Like the energy, John? Good energy. We watched him on film. He can go. Right here, number 1.
Let's let's go. Let's go.
There you go. I like it.
You literally should like fall through your first 10 yards. Like,
I'm trying not to slip.
Hey, if you slip, you get to redo it.
Listen, we're doing good, fellas. That was part 1. Step 2, we're going next session. That's football skills, and that's it. All right, now we're going to compete with the individual drills with receivers, quarterbacks, DBs, line, fullbacks. You audition for what you do best. 1, 2, 3, let's go. That was good right there, man.
Hey, you see he's bringing his hands quick.
Get it set. Do it right. Everything we do is for a reason. We're looking for traits. It's athletics. I remember him in the 40s. That was good right there, man.
Hey, let's go, man. Next one's up.
Okay. Can't rush outside of the end. So like if the end does it under, if the end goes inside, they can't come out unless the quarterback breaks the pocket.
Yeah, there's a couple. Will they accelerate? I mean, like, not just the time, but the way. Yeah, good. All right, so there's a couple guys. Yeah. Skill guys? Yeah. We'll weed them out here. From the time you walked in here, you listened really well, all right? You're doing a lot of good things. That was a nice little period. We'll end it with a team period. I want to see you guys as a team.
The final evaluation is offense versus defense.
All right, let's see it. Let's win. Come on. Good route. Good route. Good angle. Let's go. Keep it going. Come on. Keep it going. Just work the outsides. Come on, playmaker. Whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Hey. Get back here. Oh, yeah. Let's get it. Come on. Finish strong. All right, fellas, look, we're gonna wrap it up from here, all right? Look, that was a complete test, all right? In a few short hours, we got a complete evaluation from start to finish. Saw a lot of skill out here today. We saw a lot of traits. Whatever happens from here on, you're attached to us, all right?
When we have these events and you guys go through it, obviously not everybody's going to make our team or be invited to camp, but we consider you guys part of the Valor family. And we appreciate you guys putting it on the line today.
Hey, let's go, y'all. Hey, good work, everybody. Hey, everybody, we family here. Let's go. Valor on 3, Valor on me. 1, 2, 3, Valor.
There we go, 2-7. See, we progressed. You had a great day, man. Good job. Good job today, all right?
Hey, I'm gonna give you a call, man. Hey, good man. You look good. So we gonna bring you. You gonna be here. You know what I mean?
All right, well, you know, he had a good workout, so we'll look at some more things and, you know, we'll see if we can get you back here, man, all right?
Let me know.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, awesome.
Thanks for the update.
Good to see you, man.
Likewise.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
So give me your numbers again. I want to make sure we got them. And then 61, and then 57 was...
After a long day of testing and evaluations, coaches decide that Brandon Robeson, Corey Marshall, and Tyler Scalzi will be invited for a second workout.
We'll end up pulling maybe 5 or 6 guys back for the private workouts, possibly coming to training camp, which is our ultimate goal. Overall, as a competitive group, it was a really good day for all of us.
You can watch this full-length program and other exclusive original programming on Monumental Sports Network. Let's go ahead and check out our giant first half highlights. Wes, what'd you see?
Well, first things first. Saw a lot of good football. That's just to be honest about it. But this is the first play of the game. You're going to see Grady right here with the first play, first pass, deep to Malachi Jones for the first touchdown of the game. Couldn't ask for anything more if you're an Empire fan, but of course, Smith answers back with the veteran T.T. Tolliver in the corner on another great reception to add to his career. On the other side of the field, Tolliver does it again with another connection with Smith. Then, of course, Grady answers back with Malachi Jones again with a deep corner catch with the fingertip staying in bounds. Then Smith answers, as he should, with Chris Duvall lowering his shoulder, being aggressive, forcing his way into another Valor touchdown. Answered by Grady, going deep with who? Mr. Colin Taylor. Then, of course, Smith answers back with a little shimmy on the shoulder, and wow, quarterback getting into the end zone with his legs. Couldn't ask for anything more, and of course, Coach Coquinos has to be happy that his Valor team at home are only down 4 against the Empire, who they just saw last week.
I have been wowed by TT Tolliver, or as I'm going to call him, Triple T, because it's all about the game and how he plays it. He is doing a phenomenal job on the field, and the veteran looking like a spring chicken out there the way he's been playing. And it's just a matter of time until Windsor really gets going.
Yeah.
But once they get cooking, it is going to be a heck of a meal. Right now, the Valor, they're going to get the ball back to start this half. So let's see how things go. Right now, down by just 4 points. As there you get a look at Hills. He's been dangerous. He was denied on that 2-point try. A huge stop there out of the defense. And now, right now, nobody has made a true defensive stop. Really, the clock made that stop at the end of the half for Empire. So let's see how things get going in the second half. Does the pace of play and scoring keep going, or do the coaches adjust, and who makes the better adjustments at halftime?
You have to ask that question. It's all about adjustments. We've seen certain teams in certain leagues. Well, I'll just go ahead and come on out with it. We saw in the Super Bowl, the Atlanta Falcons made adjustments. The Patriots didn't have to. The Atlanta Falcons coached themselves out of a Super Bowl because of too many adjustments. The Valor are in a great position right now. They don't have to make too many adjustments. The most important component of their game is attitude, and it's right where it needs to be. These players are focused. The intensity is high. They know how important this game is, not only to them, but to the fans. It's the first home game for this Valor season. Last time we were here was July 29th of 2017. It's been a while. So these guys are ready to get a W in front of their home crowd.
During halftime, I had the chance to walk on the concourse here, and I heard an eruption of cheering. Look at one of the monitors here at Capital One. The Caps are, in fact, leading 1-0. So rocking the red down in Tampa right now as your Washington Capitals lead 1-0. Of course, you can second screen it. You got the Monumental Sports Network app here, and then you can flip on the Caps game as well. We got you covered right here on Monumental Sports Network. Second half underway. Off the side of the post, and that bounces out of bounds. They will rule it is it a touchback or is it at the 2? Let's see. It is a touchback. Ball goes to the 5.
Yeah, Cristobal decided to hang out over there and see which fan got it. Maybe he might have autographed it if he had the opportunity to. But on a serious note, it's a good opportunity right now for Warren Smith Jr. to come out. Starting from the 5-yard line, they're going to put the ball on the left hash. That's going to give him a lot of open field on his right side. Remember, he's a right-handed quarterback, so we tend to want to have that side of the field open to us. In the first half, able to put up 3 touchdowns in the air with 104 yards, only 4 passes not completed. Those are the kind of stats that you want out of a starting quarterback. Warren Smith knows what he's doing here. It's just a matter of him continuing to stay on the pace that he's on right now.
He's had a phenomenal turnaround from a week ago where he struggled against this defense. Let's see what happens in the second half. Pump fake. And completes it to Reese, slips a man, and we'll take that to the 19.
Josh Reese does an absolutely phenomenal job at knowing how to protect himself after the catch. That was 14 yards that they needed to get away from their own end zone, and Josh Reese did a phenomenal job of catching the ball and working his way upfield with the priority being protect the ball. You gotta love a receiver that knows how to do that.
Right there, Sykes, number 1 for Empire, thought he had a sack. He's half a sack away. He's tied for the all-time lead with 57.5. He is an assisted sack away from the all-time record. Smith thinking touchdown, though. Launches it. Tolliver tries to one-hand it. Doesn't go. That was Reese, but there is... No, is there a flag on the field?
There is a flag indeed. And if there wasn't, I was going to lobby for one because there was so much contact down there. I thought they were roommates.
Defense, number 24.
Arthur Hobbs on the defense. Josh Reese as the receiver. Smith does a great job of stepping up in the pocket and finding a lane to throw it in. Reese with the extension, but it's just too much contact by Hobbs inside, trying to pretty much shed him to the outside with body contact. Referee's going to call that every time.
Threw it across his body, but still had enough to get it into the catch radius.
Oh, yeah. In arena, you can do that. So you don't have to worry about wind. You don't have to worry about the elements. It's just a matter of can you get it out of your hands in the direction that you want. Give your receiver an opportunity to make a play, and it worked in their favor.
So an automatic first down on the 21-yard line. Smith looking very capable today. He'll send Tolliver in motion. Already has a pair of scores. Smith looking his way. and can't complete it there. A nice defensive knockaway by Sony.
Yeah, Farmer Sony does a really good job covering T.T. Tolliver. He starts off on the left side, Tolliver does, on the left side of the formation, comes in motion, and just works to the opposite side of the field. Again, trying to create space. This is the same play that actually gave him a touchdown earlier in the game. If it worked before, let's try it again.
There you get a look at Triple T. Missed it that time, but I would think they'll come back to him again. So that'll be a second down upcoming. Really love the poise that Smith has showed. Has had maybe 2 shaky passes, had bounces go his way, but you gotta roll with those punches, and he's done a great job of that tonight. Duvall, the motion man. Great pass to the boundary, and a nice little pickup there for number 3.
Reggie Gray making his first catch of the day. Been kind of quiet. Dan Nolan talked about him being one of the big 3 for this game. Reggie getting finally into the stat book with his first catch of the game, 4 yards outside. Of course, Gray came in to give TT a little bit of a breather, but that's the kind of depth and rotation that you want to have, where even if you sub 1 guy, you sub 2 guys, it doesn't matter. Your team has enough depth and enough leadership and poise to be able to make these guys interchangeable.
Big time third down upcoming. Last time there was a big third down, it was a penalty called against the defense. Looking deep, and that looked like it may have been a one-hopper, but they'll say it's a catch for Gray, and that sets up 1st and goal.
Great job by Reggie Gray getting his number called again. This is what we talk about with the veteran receiver. Able to come upfield in motion, makes the plant step, and just comes across the front of the defender. Able to go low and make the catch. That's 15 yards that they needed right then and there, and he was doing a great job of catching the ball with his hands. You coach it, you practice it. When it comes to the game, nerves kick in. The ability to overcome those nerves are the difference maker between good players and great players.
That's a heck of a shoestring catch. I needed a replay to confirm that one, but that was a heck of a catch. They'll give it to the commish. Gordon, can he get in? A little help from his friends. The whistle blows. Valor saying they have a touchdown, but do the Zebras say they have one? Looks like they don't. That brings up a second down.
The Commissioner Gordon starting off creating a bit of a rugby scrum down there. And you have to admire the fact that Jimmy Graham can actually do that. Big man, number 50, he's a Buffalo. That's where he went to undergrad, and it seemed like he was digging up some of that youth to try to drive his way into the goal line. Something about Commissioner Gordon is one of the reasons he's one of the fan favorites around here.
Terrence Moore, the linebacker, in the bottom of that pile, tied up the feet, and that was huge. Gordon gets another crack at it, lost a hat. Excuse me, it was Smith, and he is marked short as well.
Smith can't quite find his way across that goal line. Gordon helped on the play before. It's only a matter of time if they can get it pushed into the goal line. Smith on the keeper, trying to see if he can get a little love from those running backs behind him, try to help push him in between Gordon and Corbin. 2 massive bodies.
Such a different strategy here. You've seen the Valor try to be physical, pound it in. On the other side, Empire has been more wide open with the pass here. Let's see what they do on a big down here. Flag comes out before any sort of score. Let's see.
24, 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's almost not a bad play. It gives the Valor a little more room to work with here in a game that's so wide open.
I agree. That would have been a great play. You know, obviously there's room to live again with the bad penalty, but at the same time, that was a beautiful play that they just did not get a chance to run. They were actually, I was thinking they're actually going to score on that one because that was a little bit of misdirection in there. The Valor actually found a little bit of a weakness and exploited it right there in the A gap on the left side of the line. So, you know, it's one of those you got to make sure you don't penalize yourself out of opportunities.
That was the Valor's 5th penalty, and if you're here, at least salvage the field goal. You can't afford a turnover here because the way kicking has gone for Empire, you got to think points in any way are huge on this drive. Smith waving his man in motion. That's Windsor. Smith looking, and that will fall incomplete, bringing up a 4th down.
Real tight there in that pocket right there. And yeah, again, it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the game. quarterback having that offensive line up front that can protect him and give him enough time to see his receivers downfield. It looked like he might have tried to throw a low, but I think that was really more attributed to the contact from the defenders for the Empire that really didn't allow him to get all that he needed on that touch pass.
Take out a quarterback's legs, as Bill Parcells used to say. The most important thing of a quarterback is the base and the legs. That's where the power comes from. That's why he can complete that. So big time play, huge play here. 4th down from the 5. Valor need to punch it in. Smith drops back. Looking. Gonna tuck it. Hurdles, lost the handle. That's in the end zone, but I don't know if that will count. You can't fumble forward. Let's see what the official call is.
I know what Smith was trying. Let's see if the referees agree and let it happen. From the looks of it, might be going the other way. Still waiting on that official call, though. Kind of reminded me of the Holy Roller from the Raiders in the 70s.
I've been reading the AFL rule book cover to cover, and based off my research, I don't think it's going to count, but let's see what the official call is.
I'll tell you.
By rule, the ball was fumbled on 4th down forward. Therefore, it goes back to the 5-yard line. It'll be Albany's ball, 1st down. Timeout on the field, immediate timeout.
Arena football and breathing.
And again, it's a great idea. Nothing open, nobody available to get the ball to. Smith keeps it himself and just decides to take a John Elway moment. Only problem is he's 2 yards short. Tries to flip it up a little bit and see if he can create an opportunity for somebody else. And again, from the corner of the end zone, you can see everybody's covered downfield, so there's really nowhere for Smith to go. He's got to keep it himself. And at this point, he just says, I'm going to go for it. And you have to give the defender of Varmasoni great respect. Terrence Moore, the linebacker, great respect for sticking with the quarterback, not being fooled. Stay at home, make the player come to you, and that was the difference maker. So now the Valor go on defense. Tracy Belton, Quay Cox, Mike Everett, and these guys in the secondary are going to have to really make sure that they don't allow any big plays, and watch out for Malachi Jones.
With all the scoring we've seen lately, let's see how it's affected things in Vegas. Jonathan, what do you got?
It is a huge stop in both regards, spread and total. If you look at the total, now we're trending over at this point, right? We got over 60 points total. It's trending over, but a huge stop in terms of the under. So bettors, if you took the under, you have a little bit of hope. But a wise man once told me there's nothing worse than hope when it comes to sports betting. And on top of that, if you had the Albany Empire, if you laid the points at 6, at 7, at 9, you have hope as well. You're sitting on a 4-point lead, and now you have the possession battle in your favor. A touchdown gets you in the cover area. You just got to hold on to that. But a huge, huge stop for the Empire right there.
Couldn't ask for anything more on a stop like that for the Empire. If you're an Albany fan, you have to say that's the type of defense that we want out of our team. A real unrelenting squad that does not want to give up any extra yardage to a team that's on their home field looking for a win. Good job for the Albany defense.
That was a big-time stop. Defense at a premium in the Arena Football League, and right there, a huge stop. Now let's see if Empire can take advantage. And just check out the beef up front.
I was just going to say that. You'd mentioned that earlier in the game, the size, well, physique difference between the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman for the Valor. Some big guys.
Grady under center. Had Hill in motion. Looking deep. Trying to start this half the way they started the game, and a late flag comes out as they were looking for Malachi Jones. Valor player also shaken up as they collided with the boards, and I believe that is going to be a pass interference.
Yeah, they're probably going to call the defensive pass interference on that, on Dominic Addison working against the wall on the outside against Malachi Jones. We talked about this right before this play. They were going to try to go downfield against Jones. They had success with this in the very first play of the game with one-on-one matchup outside. Tried to draw it up again, unable to make it happen. But you see the contact between the two as the ball comes down. You're going to see Addison right there inside, able to get that arm inside against Jones. Gets a little trapped in there. Not the way you want to come down. Good thing was Addison able to get up and walk under his own power.
Yeah, on that roll, it looked like his shoulder and arm got pinned, so hopefully he's all right as the Valor look to get a defensive chant going here, second down. And I love the way the Empire have started both halves. They took shots. Let's see what they dial up here on second down. Grady goes short this time to Malachi Jones, and that'll be good for a first down, 12 yards on the play.
Yeah, Dominic Addison again on the tackle against Malachi Jones. That's been a real great matchup today that we've seen with Jones being able to play outside, inside. And last play he was on a deep route out. This time he works in the middle of the field, trying to find those soft places in the Valor defense where he can get some positive yards.
Brings up a first down. Hill's in motion. Grady drops back. Has Jones, eludes a man. Slips another tackle, and he will take it into the end zone. That is his third, no, make it fourth touchdown of the day. 3 by air, 1 by land.
Malachi Jones is a problem for the Valor defense. We talked about his versatility, and right now he's doing his absolute best to get a nod for player of the game. I'm sure that we came in talking about Grady and Hills being a real problem for the Valor defense. But when you look at what Malachi Jones has done, he's caught 3, ran 1 in as well. The guy's a problem, man. And that's really what the Valor are going to have to deal with. Now, kudos to the Empire for really being able to use him. But it's just something that the Valor are really going to have to take into account. When you see number 7 on the field in motion, someone has to cover him.
One of the Valor defenders shaken up on that play. It appears to be number 6 of the Valor, Tracy Belton. So back-to-back plays seemingly, the Valor have had 2 of their key secondary guys shaken up.
Yeah, Tracy Belton is not only a physical leader on this team, but an emotional one as well. Again, looking at the previous play, you saw Jones able to avoid a tackle, cuts back across the field, Belton right there, and it just looks like he came down wrong on that arm. Might have knocked the wind out of himself. I don't want to speculate, but just one of those things that kind of happens, real quick plays in arena football.
Great to see him back on his feet. And the outcome of that play, Jones now has 7 catches, 110 yards, 4 total touchdowns.
Man, those are some serious numbers. But as you're looking at number 6, Tracy Belton walking off the field, you got to remember in 2016 he was the Defensive Player of the Year, DB of the Year, and first team All-Arena. So he is definitely going to be missed in the secondary with that leadership. But the good thing, like we said, he's able to walk off the field. Quay Cox, Dominic Addison, Michael Everett. These guys are going to be in the secondary now. It's their job to try to keep Albany off the scoreboard and away from the big plays. That's the thing. You want to keep players away from big plays that shift momentum quickly. As they get ready for this extra point attempt. And the thing, this is arena football. The Valor are only down 10 points right now. 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. 10-point differential. The Valor are still in this game. There's plenty of game to be played.
So extra point try. That is up and good. And if you're wondering why you heard some cheering, the Caps actually scored again. So the Caps lead Tampa right now 2-0. So during this game, you may hear some random cheering or some random dancing on Carly style. And it's probably the Caps. And right now, they have reason to cheer up 2-0.
Absolutely. Got to show a lot of love to our Monumental Sports brethren.
Let's go ahead and send it down to Dan Nolan on the sidelines.
Well, rock the red, boys. That's what it's all about tonight. Of course, the Valor have a game going on as well. Earlier in this broadcast, we mentioned a player from the Baltimore Brigade, an incredible touchdown catch that involved Brandon Collins diving over the wall, touching his foot to get an incredible catch. Now, that introduced the question, naturally. I can't even speak. I thought the touchdown was so amazing. What's the greatest catch you've ever seen? We've got some great responses so far, in addition to the commentary the two of you provided earlier, Wes and Brian. Stephen, you're the third. Apologies, I pronounced your name wrong. Dez's catch in playoff game against Packers in 2015. I can't wait to hear what Brian has to say about that. Tom Peary says Tyrone Poitras' touchdown with the defender's head between him and the ball. Roll Tide. Alabama very good at football historically. James Gallagher says Julian Edelman's Super Bowl catch from an inch off the ground was the greatest catch I saw live. Well, I got to say, Mr. Gallagher, you saw a heck of a catch in person at the Super Bowl, no less. Guys, what's the best catch that you all have ever seen?
Well, Brian, I will yield to the congressman.
Yeah.
Go right ahead, sir.
My man had it right. The Dez catch, and that's what it was the best catch I've seen from the GOAT, Tony Romo.
Now, you know what? I'm going to throw two other possible catches that can go in for this. One is the one that I'm surprised we haven't mentioned. Odell Beckham's falling into the end zone on his back foot, catching it with his fingertips 2 inches off the ground. That's a great catch.
Against the Cowboys in a game they lost, mind you.
See, of course, Cowboy fans. But then you have to think of another catch. Another guy with some really great hands is Chris Carter. His ability to catch him on the sideline with his inside hand falling out of bounds. First time I ever saw that when he played for the Vikings, I was like, this guy is meant to do what he's doing.
I got to go with Tyree in the Super Bowl, though. The helmet catch, really the first time we saw that.
That day ruined a lot of good moments for me.
Back to play here at Capital One Arena. Duvault will return it, makes a cut, makes another one, slips a tackle, and that's a nice 18-yard return to set up the Valor as they currently trail by 11.
Chris Duvault on a great return. Looks like we've got another injured player down on the field for Albany.
That looks like it's number 5, Michael Everett, favoring his shoulder.
Yeah, one of those contacts. Every once in a while, I get a little stinger on the field right there. And I was just thinking about what the Valor have to do when they come out on offense here. Obviously, Warren Smith is going to have to come out and put some points on the board, but the guy on the other side of the ball for Albany is Grady. He's put up 5 completions over 20 yards, 3 for touchdowns. I mean, something to be said. But again, looking at Duvault, the ability to look upfield and try to find a seam. Avoids a tackle right there, decides to cut it back. Tolliver with a clean block. Duvault pushes upfield again, outruns Norman, shakes Greg Carr off, gets the contact inside and decides to go ahead and take it and go down with Taylor making the tackle.
It looked like Everett's shoulder got jammed just like it happened with Addison on the other side, and that's a tough one.
Yeah, when you're in close proximity with a lot of players, of course, remember we talk about the difference between a quick game and a fast game. The NFL is fast. Indoor football is quick. So there's not going to be a lot of open space for you to work in. So sometimes you can make contact that you actually intended on initiating, and then it can equally be met by another piece of contact that you were not even aware of. Sometimes you can run into what they call friendly fire from one of your teammates can hit you in a certain way. A guy can roll up on you. All these things can happen. So it's just an unfortunate reality of the game, but it's part of it. And we're glad to see when guys are able to get up and walk off the field under their own power like we're seeing right now.
Definitely favoring that left arm. Hopefully he is okay.
He seems to be. He's getting keeping his helmet on. And I tell you, I don't know about his injury, but I remember when I used to squirm around like that before, and it tended to be a stinger, and I hated those things, man. And it's just one of those things. You get hit, sometimes a little nerve right around your neck, get a little pinch, set your whole arm on fire. Not good stuff.
Back in my 1 day of 2 days, I had the old shoulder slip out, slip back in. Occasionally in yoga, it'll do that. So I can't hit some of those poses exactly right, but not a fun thing for sure. As the Valor look to climb back into this one, Smith drops back, looking end zone. Windsor can't come down with it, and Love going for the home run there, but incomplete. Love the thought.
Windsor was looking forward. That was a great pass with the perfect amount of touch on that pass from Warren Smith Jr. One of the hardest things for a quarterback to do indoors is to find the right degree of touch to put on a pass. How much air do you put under it? Smith does a great job of throwing it to a location and giving Windsor the opportunity to make a play on it. Only thing the difference was, Norman was there to make a good defensive play. Had Norman not been there, Windsor had that one. But that, as a receiver, Windsor's going to have to work on creating that inside position. When you see a jump ball like that, you might have to speed up or slow down to give yourself inside position and high point the ball.
They're going to have Duvault start with the motion. Smith tucks it. and will avoid that. I love the spin move there as he goes out of bounds. That deflects the energy from a potential hit and protects himself.
Contact avoidance is a quarterback's #1 ally. If you don't need to get hit, don't get hit. If you can take the slide, do it. If you can spin away and stick the ball out of bounds, do that. You got to be able to protect yourself.
That brings up a 3rd and 7, and Smith has shown his wheels. He has 4 runs for 20 yards and a touchdown, showing some mobility. 3:11 to go in the 3rd. Smith drops back, and he is brought down, and that is going to be the all-time sack record for Joe Sykes as he takes down Smith. Y'all are witnessing some history right here for the big guy.
Sykes gets it done. Joe Sykes, we saw him on the previous play working to get to Smith on the outside, couldn't quite do it. Comes back on the very next play and breaks a record. You see him at the top side working against Atoya, and he just gets in there. Smith steps right into it. Sykes is there waiting with open arms, ready to make history on that sack.
And he got that Han-style solo, and now we have a 4th and 11 upcoming.
Joe Sykes went to Southern University.
Timeout on the field, Washington.
One half of the great Bayou Classic between Southern and Grambling.
The Valor will take a timeout to talk over everything before this pivotal 4th down.
I'll tell you, you got to give it up to the Empire's defense. They know the right amount of intensity to apply on each play. Having only won 1 game, and actually having that been last week against this very team, they have figured out somewhat of a formula that it takes to get success against the Valor. It's really incumbent upon the home team to break that. They've got to figure out their winning formula, and today is the day like none other. It's first game here in Capital One Arena for the 2018 season against a team that's the youngest in the league. You got the home crowd fans in front of you, smiling, hands in the air. Want to keep that smile on their face and give them a W to go home with.
For sure. It's been they looked good early. Since they failed to score at the end of the half, it seems like the offense is trying to find itself again. They just need a spark, and a 4th down here is a pretty good place to try to find one if they can. Windsor in motion. Smith hit as he was throwing. It's a live ball, recovered by Empire and brought up by Moore.
Again, we just talked about that Empire defense. Look at the intensity they have. Once Sykes
Recovered by Albany. Over on down, 1st down.
it's kind of like a dam break. Once Sykes got it the first time, he's like, well, I know where that is. Let's go do it again. And here he is, getting up off the hump, works on the top side, creates pressure, gets the contact, ball is out. That was not the tuck rule. That ball never was in forward pass motion. Smith gets a fumble on the ground. Moore picks it up, and then Smith has to make the tackle. Down on the field with Dan Nolan.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, the Caps are up 2-0. They're competing in the Eastern Conference Finals of the NHL playoffs. And in honor of that, we give you a sneak peek of a Monumental Sports Network original series, Level With Me, starring a current Cap in Brooks Orpik and a former Cap in Craig Laughlin. Take a look.
How do you deal and how do you handle the press? And do negative comments ever get back to you?
Earlier in my career, we didn't have social media, so I think the only thing you had was newspapers,
Yep.
and you had like newspapers online. So I think as I've gotten older, like I've kind of I think you realize what you can control and what you can't, and there's always going to be people that are trying to kind of bring you down and stir the pot, you know, and I've seen it filter into locker rooms, and that never has a good impact on players or teams. And I think the good teams I've been on, I've done a really good job of controlling stuff inside the locker room and just kind of sheltering everything else outside. And I think that's gotten a lot more complicated with the impact of social media. I see a lot of younger guys that are, I mean, after games, I mean, I know if I played well or if I didn't play well. I don't need anybody else to tell me, you know. And it's
Rocking the red in Valor country. Gotta love it. up 2-0. We got Holtby, you got Ovi. Love it.
I'm telling you, man, I love to see the fans come out rocking the red. That's one of my favorite things about when I come watch a Caps game here at Capital One Arena, is that everybody rocks the red. You can see them getting off the DC Metro. They fill up F Street, 6th Street, 7th. It doesn't matter. The entire area is rocking red. And when I'm telling you, when they come back here, when they come home, I've got to be at one of these Caps games. It's just, it has to happen.
Down 2-0 to start, they just shook it off.
Yep.
T-Swizzle style, and now
you did not
in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I'm gonna get you later for that one. Oh, here go the Empire offense. Let's see.
Grady drops back. Floater to Hills. Collision the secondary. He wants a flag. Looks like the officials are going to say incidental contact.
I mean, what's he complaining about? Triple coverage? I mean, things happen like that. Good thing it was incidental contact. Nobody, first of all, the contact came before the pass, within 5 yards. No pass disruption at all, within the rules.
If Grady was a little more patient, he had a wide open touchdown. He didn't have to throw that then. If he waited half a beat, that was an easy score.
I see what Hills was talking about, that contact from Quay Cox.
They might go right back to him here. Grady, hard count, drops back. Floater to Hills again, and that will fall incomplete. The fans also on the letdown there. I thought they had it.
Into the party zone it goes. And you see the matchup between Hills and Addison. Good to see Addison back in the game after that injury a little bit earlier. But Hills is the target. Hills is a big receiver. Standing at 6'5", you know you can throw the ball high to him and he can go get it. The only question that the Valor have to figure out is how do we keep up with him and stay in position with him.
Valor have to make a stop here. 33 seconds to go in the third quarter, trailing by 11. Turnover would be absolutely huge here. Grady comes to the sideline as they are going to run some clock. Got to watch out for any sort of trickeration.
I think they might go ahead and let it roll. You're right. Watch out for the trickeration.
There's a 35-second play clock, and there's a differential of about 2 seconds, so they do not have to run a play, and I don't believe they will run a play.
Very smart indeed to go ahead and save yourself. Go to the fourth quarter with power.
Empire strategizing very well. Their clock management, a lot of coaches could take a lesson from it. They have mastered the clock.
Look, between the coaches and the players, remember Joe Hills had an opportunity for a touchdown, and even he was aware enough to know the clock is more important than anything. Let's work that and keep the game in our benefit. So here we are going to the fourth quarter with the Valor down only 11 points. They've got to figure out how to win. You've got to stop Joe Hills. You've got to put more pressure on Grady. You can't allow that quarterback to stand tall in the pocket and pick your defense apart. Equally as such, the mystery man, Malachi Jones. Who's going to be the guy to step up and stop Malachi Jones? Now remember, Tracy Belton went out earlier. We haven't seen him come back to the game yet. We still got to deal with him. Roosevelt's toe injury as well. He's not returning, so a lot to pay attention to. But right now we're going to go down and fill with Dan Nolan.
All right, thank you guys. Well, there's a lot of special wide receivers on the field today. 3 on the Valor, Joe Hills of the Albany Empire, but none of them have scored 9 touchdowns in one game. No, that honor only belongs to Touchdown Eddie Brown, a former member of the Albany Firebirds, a team that competed from 1990 to 2000 in the Arena Football League. Now, Touchdown Eddie Brown was incredible. At the end of his career, he now ranks in the top 10 in catches, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, scored over 2,000 points over the course of his career. He also happens to be the father of arguably the best receiver in the NFL right now, in Pro Bowl receiver Antonio Brown. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wow, does it get any better than Touchdown Antonio Brown? Well, yes, it does. In fact, I introduce this, a helmet. No, it's more than that. Thank you, Lloyd. This is an Action Streamer helmet. Now, for the first time in the coming weeks, Action Streamer will debut the first ever live streaming football helmet. That's right here, the first ever live streaming football helmet. Now, what this will do, it will provide fans with a look at what the players are seeing on the field and is safety certified for in-game use. Which brings me to the best point, guys. I now have no football experience and I'm going to compete for the Washington Valor. I'm just kidding, I'm not going to compete for the Valor, but this is something very cool that you're going to see over the coming weeks on Monumental Sports Network, a truly innovative technology that the entire country, nay, the entire world is looking forward to.
Absolutely phenomenal. When you talk about something that's going to be able to help not only on-field performance, but scouting and film study, to be able to see it from the helmet cap perspective, you couldn't ask for anything more. Shout out to Dan Nolan for that info right there.
That is going to revolutionize the way running backs are scouted for vision.
Yes.
Floater to the end zone. Hills definitely got tugged, but it doesn't matter. That is a touchdown, Empire.
They call that a grown man play. Joe Hills, absolutely unstoppable on the outside. There's a reason that...
Defense, number 21. That penalty is going to decline. Result of play is touchdown.
Michael Knight on the pass interference there. And again, taking the advantage that Hill has with his size and dominance, starts the post and works outside. And here's what's funny. The ball actually kind of bounced off the wall a little bit for Hills to catch it. It's not much you can ask for a smaller defensive back to do against a guy like Joe Hills. You see that, sees the contact coming with the wall, stays with it, gets his 6th catch of the day. That's 90 yards and another touchdown. Joe Hills, I tell you, if you're an NFL coach, if you're an NFL scout, you've got to figure out a way to look at Joe Hills again.
And trying to keep up with the Nugget master, Dan Nolan, here's one on that. 84 straight games with a touchdown now for Hills, wearing that number 80, that number 81 jersey. That type of play looks a little bit like Anquan Bolden out there.
Ooh, Anquan or T.O., I'll definitely go with that. Or even if you want to go back, I'll give you Anthony Carter from the Minnesota Vikings back in the day. I'll give you that one. But you know what I like most about Joe Hills? Tennessee State University alum. That's how we do it, baby. We grow them big like that. Way to go, Tigers. All right, I'm back. I had to have my moment. But seriously, the Valor have to figure out a way to stop this young man, because Joe Hills has the ability. He's so strong, if you make contact with him early, he's just going to shed it off. If you wait to the end of the play and try to jump with him, he's too tall. What do? You've got to figure out a way to not let Joe Hills see the ball clearly and get his hands extended.
A 20-point scoring run for Albany. They got to shore that up. Let's go back down to Dan Nolan on the sidelines.
Well, thank you, Brian. Well, my AFL career may have been short-lived, because I understand that every time you come out here, it can take a physical toll on your body as a player. Now, one hit, I'd probably be out for weeks, probably months. But that's not what we're talking about, because recently a couple Washington Valor players headed over to District Cryo to help with that recovery process and answer an important question. What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
Here at District Cryo, we offer quite a few services, but our sort of anchor therapy is based on what's called cryotherapy, and it's a cold therapy treatment. You basically subject your body to let's say intensely cold temperatures for about 3 minutes at a time. Upstairs, you can get your own, comfortable lounging chair, your sleeves for your legs, hips, or arms, where it's more of a massaging solution.
You get a lot of the old vets. This is the new stuff. This is the 2018 type of treatments. They're not a lot of the old vets. I never heard of this before. Some of them don't even take ice baths. Ice baths will help, but this will be even better.
It's all about allowing people to be educated on the importance of recovery. Recovery isn't only when you get injured. It's the day-to-day maintenance. It's you being proactive to prevent injury.
Huge thank you to District Cryo and everyone involved here. All the workers have been awesome, really teaching us the benefits of everything.
That looks amazing. As a 3-time marathoner, I need that in my life. I just ran one 3 weeks ago and I'm still sore. I think I'm gonna head down there, schedule an appointment, because that might be the recovery I need.
I highly suggest you do so. I'm telling you, that cool treatment recovery is what your muscles and bones need after a lot of impact. As we kick off the 4th quarter.
Off the net. Valor with it. A short gain of about 6 for Duval.
Norman on the tackle right there. And I tell you, one of the things you have to really pay attention to is the fact that in arena football, obviously the roster is cut from 11 guys on the field to 8. But the overall roster is smaller too. So a lot of your premier position players, your starting DBs and receivers, etc., will play special teams. So you will see a Norman for Albany. You will see a Malachi Jones for Albany. On special teams, these guys can play the entire game. That's very, very important, especially if you're trying to wear them out.
Right now, the score looking similar to the last time they played, a 47-23 win for Albany. Let's see if the Valor, with 13:50 to go, can flip their fortunes here. Smith drops back. Quick flare out to DeVault, and he is taken into the wall after a minimal game.
You know what? I really think that Valor actually kind of need to replicate that play from Chris DeVault right there. Sometimes going for big chunks, you might not get it. You end up wasting downs. Obviously, this Empire defense is pretty stout. Walk your way downfield. If you can get 7 yards outside, 5 yards right behind the linebacker, take those yards, take those downs, and walk downfield. Everything doesn't have to be done in one big home run.
Smith lining up again. Looking. Hits his man. And that'll be a first down, Valor, caught by Windsor.
Windsor making a pro move right there, able to catch it with his hands. That is so important because with the hands catch on that allows him to free his body up to make that first guy miss. So important for Rod Windsor. It's a veteran move, good play for him, keeping the drive alive.
Smith nearly picked off.
Moore reading his eyes. That's the peril of that jack linebacker being able to slide behind the defensive line. If you try to get it out too quick, he can hop right in that window and disrupt that pass. Really great job of him. You'll see him right there, number 8. He's the jack linebacker sliding to the left. Smith wants to get it out timing-wise. Boom, hands go up, disrupt the passing lanes. DeVault not able to get hold of it.
And to update Windsor's chase for history, he has 45 receiving yards, 10 away from moving into 10th all-time in the Arena Football League. Smith, man in motion, dumping it, looking for the tight end, and Corbin can't collect it, but that play seemed doomed for the start as that brings up a third down.
Corbin not able to make that reception there, actually against your guy Sykes. Stayed on contact just a little too much. When you try a screen like that, you want to make contact, but it's a timing play. You do it just enough to keep the defender honest, and then you turn around, take it, and make a move upfield. Unable to do it, but I mean, Corbin's one of those guys, they've thrown to him before. It's not a problem for him to make a catch over his career. He's had 2 receptions, 11 yards, 21 rushing attempts, so obviously the big man knows what to do with the ball in his hand.
Critical third down here for the Valor. Smith with a strike. Windsor eludes one man and will pick up a chunk, bringing up 4th down after that gain of 7.
Windsor versus Norman. Windsor walking back, complaining about Norman, almost ankle tackling him against the wall. But look at the way that Windsor catches this pass. 5 yards up and hands, boom, right there. That's the difference between Norman being able to make a full wrap-up tackle and having to reach. If you're a young receiver watching this game, what Rod Windsor just did on that pass is a textbook receiver. You see it, you catch it, and you tuck it. You have to put your hands out and extend to make that catch.
Critical play here for the Valor is 4th down, trailing big. Smith looking for it all. Touchdown, Valor. Huge play. Reggie Gray hits the wall. Corrals the touchdown, 24 yards on that scoring strike.
Reggie Gray keeping his team in it out of Western Illinois, the Leathernecks. That's Reggie Gray right there, a veteran in the league. We talked about him being one of the big 3, and he's just put his name on the ballot. This is what we've got to do. Everybody's going to be needed to get this victory. All hands on deck. Watching Gray come down, working a flag route, working to the outside. You start in the middle, give yourself plenty of room to hit that corner. Smith does a great job, again, throwing it to a location and giving your receiver an opportunity to get under the ball. Great play from the Washington Valor.
Hashtag come to play indeed, and the Caps went to Tampa to play. They are up 3-0. You're tuned in here on the Monumental Sports Network app, watching via Facebook. Second screen it. Watch the Caps game on the big screen. Watch us here right now on the Monumental Sports Network app. Multi-screen life, all about that.
I tell you, man. When you talk about multiples, it's going to take multiple plays for this Valor team to get this game where they want it. They've got to get some stops on defense. They got to get some productivity out of the offense. And our good old friend, Mr. Luck, has to be in their favor.
Let's send it down to our other good friend, Dan Nolan.
All right, guys, well, we've been talking with people all game long on Facebook. It's been a fun one. How about that last catch by Reggie Gray right in the very spot I'm standing? But we asked the question, who is the player of the game today? An early front runner was TT Tolliver after his great first quarter. But so far, it seems like two guys have really taken hold of this. It's a 1-2 punch. Hills and Malachi Jones. So between the two of them, they've both been good. Joe Hills clearly has been great this season. I would probably pick him as the player of the game today. What about you guys?
I'm leaning towards Malachi Jones.
Yeah.
Air and sea, the way he's gone. 4 touchdowns.
I want to show Joe Hill some Tiger love because, again, I like big, dominant receivers, such as myself. However, Malachi Jones has just been a problem for the Valor defense, whether he's been receiving passes, whether he's been running it. No matter where you put him, he's always a threat, not just a threat to receive or run, but to score. He is a perpetual scoring threat. This young man, you'll see the hair flapping out of the back of his helmet as he runs downfield. That's because the wind's blowing, because he's fast, he's elusive, he's got good hands, and he's got a good football IQ. I like what I see out of him. If you're an Empire fan, you've got yourself a good player on the field. If you're a Valor fan, this gentleman is a problem that you're going to, hey, Coach Coquinos, what do we do about number 7 in white?
As someone that's had to write about games and cover it that way, it's rare in a game where the first play from scrimmage is almost the story of the game.
Right.
That's your anecdotal lead if you're writing this in journalism school or writing an article on this game, because Jones, that first touchdown, is really the way this game's unfolded. The Valor kept up, and then Jones just kind of kept going after that.
He did. I remember he came out of Appalachian State, smaller school, not a lot of publicity, not a lot of press, but that's what the AFL is good for. It's a great opportunity for guys who don't get a lot of those looks to come in and show what they have, and they're able to do it inside in a great environment with good coaches, great offenses, and speed. And if you're at the NFL or any other league looking for great players, guys that you can plug in who have a good football IQ and the athletic ability to be able to produce, this is a good place to look for them right here.
And for the Valor, that touchdown, absolutely huge. They had gone 22 minutes and 10 seconds of gameplay without a score. All of a sudden, it's an 11-point game, just a 2-score game with 9:33 to go. The Valor very much right back into this. A turnover on defense would be absolutely huge. They've had 2 that have set them up inside the 5-yard line. Now would be a great time for another such play.
Well, here's what they've got to do to get that. Part of that formula for the Valor is, if you can't get the pressure up front off your defensive line, if you can't get any contact, any big hits, any fumble hits off your linebackers, who does that leave? Your DBs. They've got to have a nose for the ball right now. They've got to be looking for an interception, a way to jump a route, but at the same time, don't put yourself in a risky situation to get burned on a route. Yeah. So if you see a post, go ahead and stay deep on the post. Yeah. Don't try to undercut the slant route right in front of you. But at the same time, if you know that your man's going to run a 0 route or he's going to run a 1 and stay 5 off the line and stay under, go ahead and look for it and jump the route.
The way Empire set up their offense has been great. They've gone down the field and then they'll nickel and dime you a couple times and then chuck it deep again. So they've really kept the defense off balance.
Yeah, it's really hard for defense to balance that out.
We've seen a couple of onsiders by Empire. Let's see if the Valor tried. Empire all up with the hands team. Valor will kick it away deep. Off the net. Corralled by Taylor. Has some room and is taken down at the 19.
Big hit by the kicker, Pat Clark, on the return. Rule 1 in football as a return man. First of all, protect the ball. Number 2, don't get tackled by the kicker. He didn't listen to rule number 2, though. But they're up 11.
Another update out of Tampa, the Red rocking down there. A 4-0 lead for the Washington Capitals. Starting off in the Eastern Conference, you take down the Pens, and now starting it off, perhaps a little worry of, a little bit too happy after getting past the Penguins. It looks like the Caps aren't satisfied, and neither are the Valors. They look to make a defensive stop as Jones slips a man, and he has been a consistent problem, a 12-yard gain there.
Malachi Jones, I'm just going to keep calling his name until the game's over because he is a problem. 13 yards in that reception right there. The young man If you'll see this, watch his hands. Boom, catch it with your hands. Don't allow yourself to wait for it to get to your body. Had he not done that, Dominique Addison might have had an opportunity for an interception.
Body catching in traffic sometimes okay, but you got to get your hands on the ball, and I love that out of him. Watching the combine and different things, and Wes, we've done a lot of high school ball together. Hand catches over body catches every day.
Big difference.
Grady looking end zone, has Jones. Does he come down with it? They say incomplete.
So close, but he did what you talked about. We talked about hands. Eye pointing it with hands. Good to see Tracy Belton back on the field.
I want to see that again because Belton is the one that ran away with the ball. It appears that someone is shaken up. One of the Valor players is down.
I think that might be Dominic Addison again down the field right there. Hopefully he's able to get attended to.
That's tough because in that corner there's no padding and you're landing on concrete down there.
Yes, like the highlight play that happened in Baltimore last week. Receiver was able to come up and come down on the concrete there. It's one of those things, it's a 50-50 shot about contact on the field. It's one of those things that hopefully the young man will be all right. And just to put things in perspective at where we're at in the game right now, you're talking about a 2nd and 10, the team's down 11. And this big play with Grady and then try to go deep on a play to try to take advantage of the man-on-man coverage outside.
As they actually just put the Caps game on the big screen as the 4-0 game with 12:28 to go. As you get another look at this replay, and he just lands very hard on the concrete. I think with the cleats too, maybe slipped on it.
I see, yeah, Addison might have come down a little bit right there. But right now we're going to check in with our friends in Vegas.
Yeah, guys, so I think something that people are going to really like here if you took the under, that's what we've been keeping track of at this point. And the scoring is really slowed at this point. So the Washington Valor's offense, or lack thereof, in the second half has really given underbettors a lot of hope right now. Remember, it closed at 95. So there's a little bit of hope left here if you like the under. And if you laid the points with the Albany Empire, then you have to like where you stand at this point. They own the possession battle. They're covering at this point, too. So it looks like the favorite and the under are maybe trending at this point, but don't put too much stock in it. We've seen crazier things happen in sports betting.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan's on his stuff, man. I tell you, keeping up with the games is something else.
Addison's still shaken up, and Wes, wearing cleats on a non-cleat needed surface, it's just slick, and he took a hard tumble as he stepped on the concrete. Didn't go flying onto it, but landed, and that leads to an awkward fall.
I think what it was is in that back corner, you saw his left foot as the end of that play kind of got caught in the corner, right there under the pad, right there at the top of the field. It's one of those things that you can't coach out of it. You can't do anything to stop it. It's just an unfortunate part of the game. The good thing about it, the young man is resilient. You see him trying his best to walk out under his own power. He's like, no, I got it, coach. I got it. Dominic Addison leads the team in tackles. One of the emotional leaders. Of course, one of the physical leaders, and good sportsmanship right there from Malachi Jones to come over and give him some love. That's what it's all about. Even though it's competition, we're on different teams. At the end of the day, it's the fraternity of football. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. Everybody wants you to play the best game to your best of your ability and end with good health.
For the record, the Valor fans not booing the injury or the player. They just switched the Jumbotron away from the Caps game. But right now, all about the Valor here on Monumental Sports Network. Great to see the young man walking off under his own power for the most part. A little assist, but basically has it. And as play gets set to resume, it is a 2nd and 10 upcoming for Empire.
And you have to think right now, if you're the Empire, you know that the Valor have had multiple injuries during this game. You can kind of feel, you know, a little bit of an emotional exhale happening. You can think that the Empire might try to exploit this right now and try to make a big play.
In a game where the Valor have had trouble keeping up with receivers, they've had their DBs shaken up quite a bit. So that's been one of the challenges, keeping up with the receivers and fighting off injury. So play set to resume, 2nd and 10 upcoming.
I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, after this play, I want to say something.
Grady looking, and Jones can't corral that one on the wall. Let's head it down to Dan Nolan for an injury update.
Guys, no word yet on the exact injury, but Dominic Addison did walk back to the locker room in his own power. It looks like he will likely not come back the rest of this game. He has walked back in his own power back to the locker room.
Well, I'm glad that he's able to walk it off, and like I said, hopefully, you know, we'll see something good happens for this young man. You never want to see anybody get injured, but it's good to see him be able to walk off the field. But I'll tell you this, though, if the Valor can walk off this game today with the W, in this circumstance, I might suit up next week. And I'm not talking about helmets. I'm actually going to I might put on a suit. No, you can't get me back on the field. Calm down, Brian.
Look at end zone for Hills. And a late flag comes out. It looked like the DB there wasn't exactly playing the ball. And that's a critical penalty as the clock is running, 6:23 to go.
Defense, number 21.
Joe Hills against
penalty.
Michael Knight, a.k.a. the Knight Rider. Just a little too much contact. But again, when you look at Joe Hills, what can you expect unless you get a DB that's his size? He's going to literally manhandle any DB that goes up against him. That type of matchup is what they want. Look at him. Gets the inside position and just waits. Just waits. Michael Knight has no choice but to extend his hands and make contact. I know he didn't want to get the call, but that's just part of what happens. If you do it right in front of the referee, you can't expect them not to throw the flag.
That's the Valor's 7th penalty, and perhaps the most critical because the clock continues to run now under 6 to go, trailing by 2 scores and a fresh set of downs. 35-second play clock to work with, 4 seconds left on it. Grady peeks back at it, doesn't get the snap off, and there's the flag for it. They thought they did the delay on the whistle for the moment, but they do get him.
Full start, offense, number 1, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So it'll actually be a false start instead of the delay of game, but the clock does continue to roll.
I'll tell you, one of the things you got to love about this broadcast is that cam, that eye in the sky right there, giving you a great perspective. So it makes it fun to watch this game.
And that penalty actually kind of works in Empire's favor because the clock kept running and it's still first down. Looking for Hills in the corner, and that is a touchdown, Empire. Critical one here in the 4th quarter.
Joe Hills does it again. 14-yard touchdown. What can you say? What can you do? As a Valor defender, what do you do? I mean, at this point, I'm almost thinking about saying, hey, let's just bump at the line. Don't even give him any run. Don't even let him get off the ball. Because once he's 3 steps off, it's over.
Did he win that rock, paper, scissors matchup? Hold up, we got a second one.
Almost, but again, looking at the replay, same thing he does all the time. Starts inside, works the middle of the field, and he's either going to split left or split right. He's got the momentum. Once he sees that he's across the face of the defender, it's only a matter of does he catch it or not. And as far as paper, rock, scissors, I was a paper, rock, scissors champion in 1983 in my classroom on sick day when I was the only person there. I still won, though.
In 1983, I did not exist.
You know what? And this is why I'm not sitting up again, because I am apparently too old.
That point after try is good. I always went rock.
Always?
Always. You got to go with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Always. Do you smell what I'm cooking?
Man, I would do the whole thing, but he might sue me for trademark infringement. But here's the deal, though. We got 4 minutes left. Valor, at this point, what are you playing for? 4 minutes left. This is arena football. There's plenty of time to take this game and turn it around.
You got to get some of those 1 to 3 play drives going on offense.
Yeah.
And you got to get some stops and turnovers on defense.
I almost want to tell these guys, on the replay, you see Michael Knight. He waits for Joe to get there because obviously you don't want to overcommit and let the receiver choose to go the other direction. But as soon as he sees that Joe Hills makes that plant to go to his corner, go to the corner. Don't even play the man. Run to the spot. Play the ball. You have the same rights to the ball that Joe does. Go to the ball where you know the location's going to be and try to make a play there. If you try to stay with the man, you're going to lose.
And another AFL rule change that'll come into play. the Empire is allowed to kneel down. You don't have to gain a positive yard. So if it comes to it, they're able to take advantage of the clock with the new rule.
That is correct. That is correct. And if you're looking at what they could do if they get the ball back, look at what they've already done with the ball. 18 out of 27 for Grady, 282 yards, 7 Ts. This is the type of game that they wanted to have coming in here to Capital One Arena, and they've done just that.
Play resumes, taken out of the end zone, and a short game.
Christoval on the return again, looking for a seam.
As we get set now, it'll be first down for the Valor. Smith Jr. has not committed a turnover so far. Highlight that in the open. Very efficient first half. Let's see what he can do coming out here. As we get set for play 2 resume. Smith eludes the defense and will get it to Windsor. First down.
Just like they drew it up. Smith does a great job of staying alive on the play, able to find the veteran Rod Windsor, who of course wants to do as much as he can, adding 11 yards on that catch right there. Look at Smith, able to find option 1, not there. Avoids contact, looks for 2, 2's not there, but comes back for his 3rd guy, which is Rod Windsor. Great reading and recognizing getting through your routes.
And for Windsor, that vaults him into the top 10 all time. He needed 55 coming into it. He has 63 now. We'll have a flag before the play.
That would be his 5th reception of the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Penalty, first down.
Seeing Rod Windsor kind of step off the field right there. Got Christoval, Corbin's in the game.
As here we go.
Josh Reese and Reggie Gray are the receivers.
First down, and they have got to get it to 5th Street at this point. Valor completes it. Smith, a nice little completion there to Gray.
Real good job of Smith finding Gray on that route. They ran twin receivers on the left side with Gray on the inside, and just pretty much making the defenders have to choose and give ground, because obviously these guys can kind of run any route they want to run, but able to run a quick comeback. You'll see it, boom, right there in the pocket. Avoid that jack linebacker of Moore, who's been a problem with those hands in the middle all day. 7 yards on the reception is a good job.
Back to the line we go. 1:40 to go as the clock continues to run. You got to start thinking long ball, but another screen. Great move there, and that'll be a nice little chunk play. You got to start moving quicker. A late flag comes out, though. We'll have to check the flag.
Tackle made by Willie McGinnis. Not Willie McGinnis. Willie McGinnis. If you're thinking a former USC / former New England Patriot linebacker.
Personal foul. Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
And that's not what you want there in this situation. A critical penalty there, the 8th for the Valor tonight.
And Deontay Savage right there on that penalty. Got to be able to keep your head in the game.
So far tonight, I've loved the offensive firepower we've seen from the Valor. They've done a great job of really scoring early. That first half went as well as you could have hoped for the Valor, but the second half just unable to kind of keep that momentum going. They have not turned it over yet, which has been great.
Reggie Gray with a great reception.
Gray into the open field does have a first down.
Reggie Gray making the great catch. You can see I think it's official, Brian. You want to go ahead and call it?
Malachi Jones, all he does, catch touchdowns. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, and then a rushing score to boot.
120 yards. That makes him the Geico player of the game. As far as I'm concerned, he has done every bit of earning that throughout this football game. I tell you, if you want to look at a guy who can play football, go watch Malachi Jones play back this game and see the versatility that he displayed today.
Grady, meanwhile, keeps up his streak of games with 5 or more touchdowns. He's had a couple already. And of course, the way Malachi Jones has played, they set the tone, Empire did, on the very first play. Take a look at this from scrimmage. The very first play of the day. It's going to be Grady dropping back, pointing out the end zone, launching it to his man, and then gets it in.
I tell you, it's fun watching Grady kind of pull a Babe Ruth, decides to point it out. Boom, there goes the point. And Jones just goes and gets it. High points the ball, keeps his eyes focused, running upfield to the point where he almost didn't even know if he actually got the score on it. Does anyway. And that right there, like you said, is the tone setter of the game. Kind of the beginning, the first notes in this narrative of how this football game would go. Malachi Jones scores on the first play, and it's been uphill for the Valor ever since then.
For sure, with 56.7 seconds to go to be 100% accurate on that, but Malachi Jones really took over at times. Grady has been phenomenal throughout today's game as well, and Tommy Grady doesn't only rhyme with Tom Brady. He looks like good old TB12 at times.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I'm just glad that Grady decided to not put together a full, documentary coming into this game.
So Smith looking to set it up. Duval, the motion man, looking end zone, and that'll draw the flag as the defender got turned around.
Oh, man, you got to love a post corner route like that. Chris Duval did exactly what you're supposed to do when you've got a defender on your hip like that. If you've got a post corner on that post, if you can run square into that DB and make it take him off his point, he has no choice but to pretty much wrap his hands around you in order to regain balance to catch you in time to stop you on the corner of that route. Great job by Duval.
And again, in the last minute of a half, the clock does stop. So at 51 seconds, Valor looking to chip back into this one. At this point, I really enjoyed what I saw out of Smith at quarterback. It looks like he's really settled into the starting role. A great showing against Empire today out of him. The offense has sputtered at times, but no turnovers except for that one on that fumble. So other than that, has not thrown the ball away with an interception. So you got to like that out of the young signal caller. Smith Jr. looks back and a tuck it and run again, and he's made some plays with his legs.
Yes, Warren Smith has used his legs in a great way today. He went for one touchdown, tried to get it again, but the best stat of the game comes down to Joe Hills, his 84th consecutive game with the touchdown. I don't care what league you're playing in, high school rec league, NFL, that is a tremendous stat. 84 consecutive games with a touchdown. Whew. I can't play Madden 84 times in a row and make sure I score every game.
My fantasy football team doesn't even have that sort of record. He has right now 7 catches for 124 yards with a pair of touchdowns. He's had himself a day.
Well, you talked about what the Valor need to do on offense, but this game really comes down to what they couldn't do on defense, which was stop Joe Hills and stop Malachi Jones, which equals Tommy Grady. That little triangle of power right there for the Empire has been a real situation for them.
Second down, Smith looking end zone, completes it.
Josh Reese with a great reception in the back of the end zone.
That's a heck of a catch there, and right now the Valor are within 12 with 38 seconds to go. You got to go onside kick. Some crazy things have to happen, but right now I enjoy the fight we've seen out of the Valor. They haven't yielded. They are playing down to the last minute, and they've done a great job of just gutting this out, regardless of the score.
Yes, yes. Coaches watch that. Scouts watch that. They watch how you play when you're down. when the game is either barely out of reach or completely out of reach. They watch your resiliency. Do you have the character to play the game? And the Valor have shown that they do.
And Mr. Perfect continues to do it. Pat Clark boots it, Kurt Hennig style.
Yeah. You missed out last week, Brian. Got to hang out with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. Oh yeah.
Now did Hacksaw have his 2x4?
No, because legally he was not allowed to bring it in the building. However, it was there in spirit.
Okay.
We had a great time with those guys. And when you talk about wrestling, one of the things that reminds me about this venue and what I love about AFL football, you get the proximity of like a hockey game. Like you're right up close to the action, just like a hockey or basketball game, but you get all the football action that you clamored for. It's not every day you get to see, hear, smell the game at this proximity. It's just something that you really have to appreciate when you get a chance to take it in.
Take a look at the Valor's upcoming schedule presented by Mars. They get to take on their Beltway rival, the Baltimore Brigade, on Saturday. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff, and then they will travel up to see Albany again. That'll be the third meeting between the teams, so let's see what happens there. And then a home and away against the Philadelphia Soul before closing out the regular season at Baltimore. So the Valor with a couple of big-time games coming up. The Valor Club definitely looking to turn things around.
I'll tell you right now, that matchup against Baltimore is going to be a serious one next week on the 19th. Out of the 3 victories that the Valor had last year, all of them were against Baltimore. And trust me, these 2 teams know each other quite well. There is a lot of tension/familiarity between these 2 organizations. So it's going to be really good to come out and see them both put on a really great show next week.
It's always fun to see Omar Smith coach.
Oh, yeah.
We had him in the booth a couple times for high school ball, and the dude is an encyclopedia of football knowledge.
I'm telling you, and passionate about the game. And it's contagious to his players, which you have to appreciate.
Onside kick, and that is recovered by Empire. So it's likely going to be 1 snap, and that will likely do it with 35 seconds on the clock.
Arthur Hobbs doing a great job to go ahead and secure that ball on the kickoff. It's real easy for that to bounce any different way. Did a really good job of keeping it, secured it, and basically securing this victory. But if you're a Valor player, as frustrating as this loss may be, you cannot allow yourself to be discouraged. There's plenty of opportunity, plenty of football to be left. Especially when you have the fire of wanting and hunting that win.
So basically a snap away.
As they take that new rule kneel.
Yep. And that will likely do it as headsets come off from the coaches. And hugs and handshakes are upcoming. So Albany will get their 2nd win of the season. Valor will look for their first when they play Baltimore on the 19th. And this was a fun one here in Capital One Arena. We really saw a great offensive showing out of the Valor tonight in the first half. Second half, it sputtered a little bit, but definitely some great things to build on here for the Valor moving forward.
No, they have a lot to build on. They've got a lot of talent on this team, especially leadership on the veteran end. But what they've got to really do, and I think this is going to be incumbent upon them, and if I were coaching, this is what I would do. Now that we've gotten our first home game out of the way, a lot of jitters, a lot of energy, trying, getting up to this moment. From here on, it's a new season. New season. We've played 4 games. It's quarter of the year. It's a new season. Forget everything that's happened up to this point. When you go home tonight, take care of your body, be with your family, wipe this off. Tomorrow morning, wake up with a new focus, a renewed energy, and knowing confidently that you have the talent to not only compete in this league, but win. And if you can do that, then you will be able to play football the Valor way.
And for the Valor, it looks like they have solved the most important position in football. Warren Smith Jr. played a great game today. The 1 fumble on a blindside hit, no interceptions.
None.
Guided the offense well. At times, they had some issues, but overall, that is a performance you can build on as they fall 53-42 to the Empire. But you know what? The Republic always seems to bounce back against the Empire if Star Wars taught us anything.
I love the way you played that, yes. But the question is who is going to be our Rogue One? Who's going to be that crew that is willing to go in to the pits, knowing that they might not come out, but they've got to figure out a way to sacrifice for the team? Who's going to be that person that's going to take that burden on their shoulders and say, if it means I've got to change the way I play the game, if my focus and training has to be different, I'm willing to do that because this team needs a win. Who's that person going to be?
I got Triple T, TT Tolliver. The way he played today, that's the type of guy I want in my foxhole, and I think he could be the guy to help lead the way and solve it. And I love this, the unity between the players, the post-game prayer. Everyone wants to be able to walk off the field healthy after a game. We had a couple of injuries, but it looked like for the most part nothing too serious, and that's what you like to see. Players showing gratitude for a great game, and it was a great game, an 11-point differential between the two squads. Let's go ahead and send it down to Dan Nolan, who's with quarterback Warren Smith.
All right, thank you guys. Warren, 5 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Seemed like you were a lot more comfortable today when you played Albany. What was working for you on the field tonight?
I was just taking what the defense gave me. Last week, I was getting a little too greedy, trying to like win the game in one throw. This week, I was just trying to take what they gave me. You know what I mean? If they're giving me the short pass, take the short pass. If they give us a shot to go throw it long, throw it long. You know, just mixing it up, mixing the snap count up, putting the defense on their heels. But this league's so good, you get stopped 2 times, you're going to lose. So, you know, we got stopped down there at the goal line, jumped off sides, and then the sack fumble. So, you know, that's the little things we got to fix. Once we start fixing the little things, that score will be flipped and we'll be on the winning side.
You were put in a difficult situation over the past couple of weeks, an unexpected situation nonetheless. You are now starting quarterback for this Washington Valor team. You mentioned the little things. How do you improve on a week-by-week basis, starting with that next game against the Brigade?
I mean, it comes to everything from practice, like showing up on time, like getting your depth. Like, you know, too many penalties. We're undisciplined. We're too undisciplined right now. We're elongating drives for other teams, and we're killing ourselves offensively with personal fouls. So you're putting yourself behind the sticks, making it really hard. And again, this is like an all-star league. All the teams are good. So little mistakes like that will make you lose by 9, 10 points.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys.
Thanks, Dan. And of course, our next game will be Saturday, 3 o'clock. We also got the Mystics upcoming. I want to thank our staff and crew here in the booth with me, our statistician, Chuck Gardner, and then in my ear, Chelsea Flew, the producer helping us get it done. For Dan Nolan on the sidelines, Wes Hall by my side, I am Brian Kapoor. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Valor game. Again, the Valor fall 53-42 here at Capital One Arena.